Death Valley, Auburn, LSU, War Eagle, go Tiger. Tonight in Death Valley, in a battle of unbeatens, one team's dream of an SEC title may come to an end. Fires have literally raged in this rivalry. Earthquakes have been registered. Historic touchdowns, game-changing turnovers, intensity at a fever pitch. Each Tiger has experienced the highs and lows that only come from a fierce rivalry bred on great football in the best conference. This rivalry game makes stars. It creates legends. Expect nothing less in this one. A tale of two Tigers told tonight. And we welcome you to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotel. Our matchup tonight, the Auburn Tigers undefeated. The 3-0 LSU Tigers also unbeaten so far. And Death Valley tonight, it's Wet Valley. A lot of rain. We expect more of the same as we go through tonight's festivities. The Tigers of LSU haven't lost a home game in September in 7 years. And with that, we welcome you, everybody. Brad Nessler along with Todd Blackledge. Holly will join us in a minute. Partner, we've seen LSU already once this year against TCU in Dallas. That was a pretty good battle. Then they won a couple of games that they should have. The test now starts tonight.
Yeah, we're at that point in the season now where we really start to find out who's for real. And for LSU, they're undefeated. Their offense have had tremendous balance through the first 3 games. Their young defenses put up good numbers, but now the SEC schedule starts, and Auburn will be the toughest test that LSU has faced on both sides of the ball. We'll know a lot more about LSU at the end of the night. They've got a quarterback that's been pretty hot, Zach Mettenberger. Zach Mettenberger has played beautifully, completing 65% of his passes, 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, but again, he'll be tested more tonight. Auburn hasn't been on the road yet, and this is a special place at night on a Saturday. Yeah, and their quarterback is only making his 4th start, Nick Marshall. He led his team to a great come-from-behind win at home last week, but playing your first game on the road is one thing. Playing here at night in Death Valley, that's a different animal altogether. Speaking of animals, they have to run right by Mike the Tiger, and Nick Marshall told us yesterday he'd be calm, cool, and collected. We'll see if that's the case during the course of the evening. Auburn and LSU will kick it off when we come back.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Allstate Insurance, proud sponsor of the SEC. Are you in good hands? And Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
It's the SEC on ESPN, and a battle of unbeatens in the SEC West. And as Les Miles told us yesterday, first you have to worry about winning the West. Go from there, go to Atlanta, try to win it all. Before we kick it, let's check in third member of our team, Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, they say it never rains in Tiger Stadium, but tonight it is raining. As you can see, it's been heavy weather all day. The athletic director for facilities, Eric Fassbender, told me that this field has taken about 4.5 inches of water in the last 4 days, but it's drained remarkably well and is in pretty good condition after warm-ups. He said the 1% slope helps shed the water. They've got drainage pipes every 7 feet, and so it has held up. I'm also told that there's not been lightning within a 100-mile radius of here, so a lightning delay will be slim tonight. Guys, both teams have done some preparation. LSU prepared with wet balls this week. On Thursday, Zach Mettenberger used a wet ball for about 45 minutes of practice. Cam Cameron, their offensive coordinator, says, hey, our offense should be weatherproof. For Auburn, Nick Marshall did some wet ball work, but back in fall camp just for 1 day. We will see how this weather affects both teams tonight.
All right, Holly, I'd say stay dry, but I know that's not a possibility. Gus Malzahn, his first year as a head coach here, former offensive coordinator for a couple of seasons at Auburn. And off to a 3-0 start. They've already won as many games as all of last year, and they're 1-0 in conference play. And of course, you saw Les Miles' 9th year here, including a national title in 07. 71 degrees right now, and the chance of rain continues. It's coming down right now. I'd love to be the poncho vendor here in Baton Rouge. LSU won the toss, and they deferred. So it's going to be James Hairston set to kick off. Trey Mason and Quan Bray stand back in the rain near the goal line. And Mason has already taken one the distance this year in their opener. They've got it teed up Saturday night at Tiger Stadium. No better place to be. And for the 48th time, the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers. Line drive kick, and a little indecision back there between Bray and Mason. Neither makes the catch. And so touchback, and they'll bring it out. And Nick Marshall comes out. And there's his numbers last week. The most ever by an Auburn quarterback in his SEC debut. And a great drive, as Todd said, to end the game, and a touchdown in the final 10 seconds.
Well, really what won him the job in the summer was how he operated in the 2-minute offense every time they used it in practice. And that's where he shined last week. 12 plays, 88 yards. He accounted for 84 of those yards and comes out of that game and into this one with tremendous confidence.
And he comes up to an empty backfield with 4 receivers to his left on the first snap of the ball game. And now Mason will go back and join him. And he'll get the call. And a good gain. Pick up a 5 out to the 30 as we take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players for tonight. Corey Grant, he's been their big play man in the backfield. Reese Dismukes, I put him in there because not only does he have to make a lot of the calls on the line, he's got to play against guys like Johnson and Ferguson on the defensive front for LSU.
And he's got to snap a wet football every down also.
Second down and 5. And again, Marshall trying to get his point across to his offensive lineman. They'll keep it on the ground. They're going to get a first down out of it. Trey Mason, 2 good runs of 5 yards.
That first down, so critical for Auburn coming into this game. If they want to go no huddle, they want to go tempo, and 2 running plays in a row, they go right inside at those 2 tackles. Nice job by Alex Kozan, the left guard, pulling and leading that play.
So pickup of almost 6 and a first down at the 36. Comes a blitz off the corner. Throw is out in the flat to Ricardo Lewis. Lewis got the corner. Woo, ran into a wall at about the 48-yard line. Named Craig Loston, but he got a first down.
Well, Jalen Denson, the coaches told us he does a lot of the dirty work, number 89. Watch the block he gets on the outside linebacker. That's the key block. His block on Taj Jones allows Ricardo Lewis to turn the corner.
And he didn't quite get the first down. Second down and about 2 feet. We've got 1st and 10 on the screen, but it's not. And the throw, this one low and incomplete. Jalen Denson was the intended receiver.
That's the one area, and it's wet, so that might have some factor, but the one area where Marshall has been a little bit slow in developing is the timing throws like that. He's been very good throwing on the run. He's been very good throwing the deep ball, but that play right there where he fakes, plants his foot, and throws on time is the thing that's taken the longest for him to develop.
Again, they're about 2 feet shy of a first down on 3rd down. Mason, a little indecision on where he's supposed to be in the backfield.
They called timeout. Yeah, there was indecision. Gus Malzahn is trying to take the pressure off of his quarterback. He's trying to manage the game and call the game from the line of scrimmage.
Timeout. Auburn, that is their first charge, timeout.
So timeout here early in the ball game. An early timeout taken by Auburn to try to get things straightened out on an upcoming 3rd down. Not only have they been a lot better in total yardage, but they were worst in the SEC last year on 3rd down conversions. Much better so far this year. And Ledge, they've got a 3rd down and about 2 feet they'd like to get right here.
And I think if they get this, I will be surprised if they don't try to line up and go fast and take a shot deep down the field on 1st down.
Cameron Artis-Payne is in the backfield with Marshall. He gets the carry, and he gets the first down. And now let's see if they do out near midfield. Try to go a little tempo here.
Gus Malzahn knows that they've got to take some chances against this LSU defense. They're not going to just make a living the whole night just slamming away at them. And right now they've got a very nice drive going there at midfield, and Nick Marshall looks very composed. Wouldn't be surprised to see him take a shot right here.
They got their bodies changed up offensively without a huddle, and now a diamond set in the backfield, and now it's Marshall trying to take it wide himself. Well, he got a pretty good gain out of it, 3 or 4, before he's run out of bounds by Craig Loston.
The fact that he is a legitimate dual threat quarterback puts a little extra pressure on this LSU defense. I mean, you have to account for him. He doesn't run it a bunch, but he's certainly capable.
Ran for over 1,000 yards last year at Garden City Community College in Kansas. They faked the end around. He just got rid of it in time. A wobbly pass, incomplete. Daniil Hunter is the guy that hit him on a ball intended for Denson.
Denson back for the football. They love to fake this end around. And the pressure forced a bad throw, and watch as Denson tries to reach back. He slips. And at the end of the play, holding that left knee.
Oh, and he was open. But again, the pressure. Marshall was hit as he threw. Denson, a junior out of Hoover, Alabama. We'll check on him when we return.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
No score here in the first quarter, but injury to Jalen Denson here in the first quarter, and I think they're trying to put an inflatable cast maybe on his leg, as trainers for both Auburn and LSU out there trying to help the cause. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, they have done those ligament tests on that knee where they move the knee to see how the ligaments are holding up. They are now putting an inflatable brace, as you said, on that leg, Brad. His reaction on the field, guys, not good right now. Auburn does not give out medical injury information, but they have requested a cart to take him off the field. I think it's going to be a little while, but, guys, it is not looking good right now.
It's a shame. You know, hopefully he'll be all right, but they are going to bring out the cart and try to get him to the locker room and to medical facility. While we have this break in the action here, let's go back to the studio and check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
All right, Brad, we have time for Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. Game over on ESPN2. Number 1 Alabama against Colorado State. Kenyon Drake.
And again, stop and play here early in the first quarter at Tiger Stadium, and now they've got the cart out to try to help Jalen Denson to the locker room.
Again, Denson, a very valuable member of this receiving corps because of his blocking ability, his toughness,
and his size at 6'3", one of their bigger receivers. Well, he's kind of getting onto the cart by himself, or trying to. His teammates all come over to wish him the best and him to them, as they've got another third down on this drive, trying to keep it alive here. It's the opening march of the football game for Auburn.
Well, 3rd and 7, much different than 3rd and a few inches. I would expect John Chavis, the defensive coordinator of LSU, to bring some pressure on Nick Marshall on this 3rd down play.
Auburn's team physician is Dr. James Andrews, who's only the best in the country, whether it's college or pro or anything else.
And I think he's an LSU grad, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure that's the connection there as well.
So we wish Jalen the best as we get back to the action on the 8th play of the Auburn drive. And again, you see the rain hitting the face of Nick Marshall. Third down at 7.
I'm pretty far away from this guy right here. I'm a little surprised by that. They're going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Again, Gus Malzahn trying to see what the LSU defense is lining up in and then call the play for his quarterback.
Now they've got receivers stacked to both sides, and Marshall runs into the front wall of LSU, pump fakes, and now heads to the first down marker. Didn't get there. Got close, though.
It's a nice tackle by Jalen Mills, number 28, who knocked him out of bounds. And because he hit him high, I think that's what enabled him to keep him short of the first down. Marshall can't find anybody, and he makes a nice fake to get to the close to the marker, and Mills knocks him out on the ground.
And LSU's got it. Lamine Barrow with a fumble recovery. Artis Payne is the guy that put it on the turf.
Yeah, and we'll have to take a look at this again to see if it was a bad handoff or not, because Artis Payne was running through there, and he would have easily had the first down. The ball looked like it stayed on the hip of Payne instead of being stuck all the way into the stomach. No, that was a good handoff.
Looked like it.
Payne just didn't handle that. And when it's a wet night like this, you have to take extra precaution if you're a quarterback, if you're a running back, to secure the football, and that was a costly turnover.
So LSU takes over at its own 43-yard line. Zach Mettenberger and the Tiger offense, and they won't get a snap before we got a flag.
Yard penalty remains first down.
Trey Turner, the right guard, and it'll be 1st and 15 now for Zach Mettenberger. Watkinsville, Georgia native, and his numbers that leads the SEC in pass efficiency with 9 touchdowns and no interceptions.
He just looks better. I think Cam Cameron, the new offensive coordinator, has had a real dynamic impact on him. His balance is better. His delivery is quicker. His decision-making quicker right now, and he's throwing the ball
Please
with great
reset the
accuracy.
game clock to 12 minutes, 9 seconds. 12:09.
What has helped him
Thank
also is that Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. are off to outstanding starts as well.
They're
Those
two of the best guys around.
I think they're the best duo in college football right now.
I'm with you. 1st and 15. Dylan Gordon, the tight end, switches sides. Jeremy Hill behind Mettenberger. Off play action. He wants to throw long on the first snap. And Beckham in and out of his hands. He had his hands on it and didn't hold it. Jonathan Mincy was right there with him.
Well, Cam Cameron told us their secondary better back up. And right there, the first play of the game, Beckham Jr. runs past Jonathan Mincy. He was beaten on the play. It was a good throw. And Beckham got both hands on it, just couldn't secure it.
9 times out of 10, I think he makes that catch.
Yep. Again, it's a wet football, and that's going to be an issue all night for both teams.
So 2nd down at 15. Now here's a quick throw on a screen out to Landry. Landry spins his way to midfield, maybe to the 49. That'll bring up a 3rd down as we take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A, going the other way. We already talked about Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. I'm with Todd. I think they're the best duo around. And that means that Therese and Mincy in the secondary of Auburn are going to have to be on their toes. And we already saw Jonathan Mincy, even though he was beaten, get back there and break that last pass to Odell Beckham Jr. up. 2 tight end set this time and an high backfield on 3rd down and 2.
LSU likes to run left out of this.
There they go, Jeremy Hill, and he breaks into the secondary. Hill, he's going to take it. Jeremy Hill, touchdown. .49 yards for the touchdown. And the problem when you bring that many guys up defensively, if he gets by the first wave, it could be over, and it was.
They love to run behind Lael Collins, their left tackle, Vidal Alexander, their left guard, and lead with that fullback, J.C. Copeland. Just old-fashioned power football.
Delahousie in for the point after. Up and good. It didn't take him long to have that fumble recovery turn into something special. 57-yard drive in just 3 plays. And this guy on any play can take it the distance. He did there for a 7-0 LSU lead. Hill's 4th rushing touchdown of the year has given LSU a 7-0 lead, and they are finding success on the ground. Brought to you by Expedia.
Well, they just love to run power football to their left. They're going to get a double team right here with Collins and Alexander. Trey Turner's going to take care of that linebacker. J.C. Copeland's going to take care of that linebacker. And they just run right at you. And then once Hill gets into the second level, he's running straight ahead, and those defenders are coming sideways, and they're losing their footing. He's got a full head of steam, takes it all the way to the end zone. It's just smash mouth LSU football, and they're going to challenge you that way, particularly on 3rd down and short.
16th rushing touchdown of his career, and the rain is intensifying here in Death Valley. That run by Hill, the longest allowed by the Auburn defense so far this year. Ray Mason's just going to let this one go. As they bring it out to the 25, we send it out to Reese Davis. Reese?
Brad, time for a Taco Bell Live Moss moment, and Todd Graham in Arizona State might be saying no Moss against Stanford right now. Anthony Wilkerson goes in, the Cardinal opening up a can. It's 20-0 about halfway through the second quarter.
You talk about a team that wants to punch you in the mouth and see how you respond.
There's one.
Yeah, Stanford does that as well. They will challenge you physically from the very beginning of the game.
Let's see how Auburn's offense does its second timeout. Kyle Frazier is in the ball game right now. In the Wildcat. Former starting quarterback a year ago lost 2. DJ Welter, the inside linebacker, made the stop. Last time these two teams got together, Frazier was the guy at quarterback.
He was the starting quarterback. He got beat out. He moved to defense and just recently moved back to offense. So he's still kind of trying to find his way with Gus Malzahn and used in certain situations.
Nick Marshall back in there now. The give, Corey Grant trying to get wide. Hard to do. LSU's pursuit. They're just too fast on defense. He only got about a yard.
I think Nick Marshall is going to have to become a much bigger factor running the football tonight for Auburn to really have a chance to stay in this game. He's the wild card, I think, as a runner, whether it's by design or just by scramble.
4 receivers for him here on a 3rd down and 9. Everybody looking to the sideline to get the call. And now they change things up as they look at that card over there on the sideline. 3rd and 9 over the middle. It was tipped and incomplete. Somebody on the front wall got a hand on it, or maybe a helmet on it.
Well, Auburn had the pressure picked up. Trey Mason did a nice job picking up the blitz from the outside, but Marshall right off the helmet of Ego Ferguson.
That's using your head, Ego. So punting situation coming up. Stephen Clark hasn't had a punt return yet this year. He might want to try to keep that up because that guy is one of the best around at taking it the other direction. And now he dropped the snap, and he's going to get dropped at the 9-yard line. Duke Riley. And another miscue by Auburn.
A good snap. But the guys who don't handle the ball regularly, the punters, the holders, those are the guys who are most at risk on a night like this. This is a good snap. And even though Clark is a senior and experienced guy, he did not handle the snap cleanly. And LSU with another big play off of a turnover.
So if you think the weather wasn't going to affect the game, you're dreaming. 1st and goal, LSU. See if they can capitalize on this turnover. The water's just parted there, and he takes it in from 10 yards out. LSU jumps out to a 2-touchdown lead. And we're only a little over 5 minutes into the game. Turnovers will kill you on the road. And in just 3 seconds, Jeremy Hill's second score of the night. 14-zip LSU. LSU's perfect in the red zone this year because taking a knee doesn't count. They just got their 16th score 17 times inside the red zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, watch these 4 guys. I mean, they just are road graders on this play. I think our stat guy, Pat McGrath, could have scored on this one. This is just a walk into the end zone. I mean, those 4 guys just devastated the middle of the Auburn defense, and it was an easy touchdown.
I don't think that Pat can run 10 yards in 3 seconds, though.
He'd have scored on that one.
Well, Auburn, if nothing else, has got to get some kind of sustained drive or at least stay on the field for a while on this upcoming possession. Because LSU scored 14 points in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Jalen Collins is going to hold the ball for James Hairston here so it doesn't come off the tee. Again, he's kept it away from Trey Mason and Quan Gray on his other kicks. And he's going to do the same thing here. Out of the back of the end zone, we'll bring it out to the 25, and we'll bring it out to Reese Davis.
Brad, SportsCenter right now brought to you by Ally Bank. Florida beat Tennessee today, but they lost their quarterback. Jeff Driscoll is out for the season. He has a broken fibula. Will Muschamp saying after the game the Florida quarterback would need surgery. Much more of that coming on SportsCenter and on College Football Final later tonight.
What a shame for Jeff Driscoll. Wow. Zach Mettenberger hasn't had to do much at quarterback for LSU because his tailback has done it all. And his defense and special teams. Artis Payne in the backfield with Marshall. Will get the call. And nice run. Picked up about 5. And let's check in with Holly.
Well, the scoreboard doesn't look positive for Auburn right now, but I can tell you they're not diminished from their attitude standpoint on the sideline. The guys came over at that last drive. They said, hey, we're fine, guys, we're fine. They're trying to have good energy, good effort, and good attitude over here on the sideline. Even though they're down 14-0, they are trying to stay in this game, guys.
Sadly, that opening drive was looking good until Jalen Denson got hurt, and then it kind of went haywire, and they ended up fumbling. Another tough run for 4 more by Artis Payne. Anthony Johnson, big defensive tackle, along with Lamine Barrow bringing down. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 1.
Auburn has 3 backs that they rotate in there. Artis Payne, who carried the last 2 plays, is their downhill power runner. And he's in there again on 3rd down and short. Mason, kind of a do-everything. Corey Grant, as you mentioned earlier, their big play speed guy.
Third and 1. And I don't think they got the 1. Maybe. I don't think so, though. And of course, you can't go hurry up or tempo offense if you can't get first downs. And I think it's 4th down and a couple feet here.
Ego Ferguson got penetration. He pushed back into the offensive backfield and forced Artis Payne to alter his course. He didn't get credit for the tackle, but he affected the play dramatically and caused him to come up short.
And you see length of the football shy. And punting unit will come out. Remember, Clark dropped the last snap. That led to the 2nd LSU touchdown. Let's see if his hands are dry. And again, he hasn't had a punt returned yet this year, but Odell Beckham Jr. is looking for one on the other end. They'll just clear the area and let this one roll dead near the 31-yard line. With 7:55 remaining. Chase for the Sprint Cup continues tomorrow in New Hampshire. Points leader Matt Kenseth looks to build on his momentum and keep Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson from gaining ground in the standings. And there are the standings. Again tomorrow, 1 o'clock on ESPN. And watch ESPN as well, the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. So far, this race has been all LSU, 14-0. Zach Mettenberger out into the huddle at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, I'd stay right in this two tight end and continue to slam at this Auburn defense and see how they respond. They have not stood up too well in the short time they've been out there to the LSU run game.
Again, Auburn brings up an extra guy to try to stop the run, and this time after a pickup of 3, they do bring down Jeremy Hill. Therese made the stop. Sort of a combination defensive back, outside linebacker, the star position they call it at Auburn.
One of the reasons that this formation has been so successful for LSU is it gives them that power run with extra blockers with 2 tight ends. And the way that Landry and Beckham have played this year, it doesn't matter if you only have 1 wide out in the game because they've been able to make plays no matter what the coverage is.
Odell Beckham in motion to the top of your screen on 2nd and 7. Here comes play action. And he flares it out to Copeland, the fullback. And Big JC, I think, is going to have a first down or very close to it. Chris Frost is the guy that brought him down. He's like a freight train out there when he has a head of steam at 270 pounds.
He's such a good blocker that he shows block on this play, then slips right underneath the defensive end, D. Ford, and is out in the flat quickly for the pass.
JC's 3rd reception of the season has given LSU a first down at the 41-yard line. And now we've got a jump. I think it's going to be the right tackle, Hawkins.
65 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Just fell out of his stance there, so it'll be 1st and 15.
Well, the only thing that has stopped LSU's offense tonight is themselves. 2 penalties like that. First play of the game, and then right there, a couple 5-yard penalties. Again, the balance of the LSU offense through the first 3 games has been as good as I've ever seen it. They've always been able to run, but their passing game, particularly play action, has really stepped up.
Averaging 219 on the ground and 270 through the air through the first 3 games of the year. Hill follows his fullback and hurdles 1 tackler and gets inside the 45-yard line, not to the 46.
See, again, sometimes if you see a team put more guys in the box than you can block, you get away from run plays. LSU doesn't, because they say, you know what? So what if you have an unblocked guy? In this case, it was the safety, Ryan Smith. Ryan, you've got to tackle Jeremy Hill one-on-one. And if you do it, congratulations. If not, we're going to still run the football.
You get sick of doing it after a while.
Absolutely.
2nd down and 5. And again, they stay in the 2 tight set with Jarvis Landry, the lone wideout. This time they stack Hill up, but he still got a couple yards out of it. And Copeland lost his helmet and almost his temper in a battle with Chris Frost, the linebacker. So he'll have to come out on this next play. Could alter what LSU does, quite frankly, a little bit, because he's their lead blocker.
Well, Connor Neighbors has actually been pretty good catching the football. He's had a couple big catches in the last 2 games. There's the end of the play. You see him in there, the lead blocker.
So now they come up with another 3rd down here. 3rd down and a long 2. Different fullback. Neighbors, the up man in the eye here, with Copeland out. They're going to throw the quick slant to Landry. He's got a first down. Boy, had a couple guys around him, but Mettenberger put it right where he had to.
Short side of the field. This ball's not going to be in the air very long. And you see Landry right away, just 1 step, gets inside of the corner, Ryan White, and a nice throw low and away from the defender by Mettenberger.
And we've got another injured player down. This is right guard Trey Turner at the end of the play for LSU. And it looks like they're reaching for maybe his lower right leg or ankle.
Looks like that right ankle has been wrapped also coming into the ball game.
Well, we've had too much of this already here in the first 10 minutes of the ball game. We'll be right back. Trey Turner limping over to the sideline. The sophomore out of New Orleans. His team up 14-0. And taking his spot's going to be Evan Washington, number 75.
I think if this LSU offensive line can stay healthy, they have a chance to be outstanding. I mean, they are very athletic. They're huge. And they are getting better and better each week as we look at Turner getting attended to on the sideline.
Wonder if Mettenberger would take a shot here after the first down. Well, he won't now. Flags.
False start. Number 70 offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's Collins, the left tackle, with the false start that time.
Yeah, third one of those. And again, those are mental mistakes. Those are not physical mistakes. That's a lack of concentration. Whether or not Auburn's defensive line is doing anything movement-wise or sound-wise to affect them shouldn't matter.
Both Landry and Beckham to the bottom of your screen, the two wideouts on a 1st and 15, and now it's Landry in motion. Play action. Mettenberger flushed out of the pocket, and they're going to bring him down. First sack of the night. Back on LSU's end of the field, or maybe right at midfield. Jake Holland staying home to make the tackle.
Carl Lawson, number 55, was the first guy to get in there and get pressure and force Mettenberger to move in the pocket.
Now, in a long yardage situation for Zach Mettenberger. 2nd down and 17, backed up at midfield.
Play clock's going to run out.
So they'll take a timeout.
LSU, there's their first charge timeout of this half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
3:50 remaining in the first quarter. All LSU right now. The SEC on ESPN. And speaking of the SEC, the most powerful conference in college athletics will live on a new network. Traditions found a new home, the SEC network. It launches in August 2014. For more information, go to getsecnetwork.com. And in the preseason, there's what the rankings look like of SEC teams. And you can see LSU, we had them when they were 12th ranked against TCU. They moved themselves all the way up to number 6. Georgia a winner again today. Texas A&M's playing right now. Florida beat Tennessee. We'll see Ole Miss against Alabama next week. So again, the top 25 stacked with Southeastern Conference schools.
Well, and in particular with LSU, a lot of people thought because they lost so many underclassmen to the NFL draft, they were going to take a step back this year. But so far, that's not been the case. They have recruited extremely well the last 4 or 5 years, and there's a lot of talent, just talent that we haven't heard too much about yet.
Remember way back in early August, you telling me that very thing. Don't count out the Tigers. As Hill, he might have 100 yards before we're done with the quarter. He's over 80 right now.
It's a big play right here for the Auburn defense. 3rd down and 10. Got to get a stop, get some pressure on Mettenberger. Maybe want to bring some pressure.
That last carry by Jeremy Hill took him over the 1,000-yard career mark here in Baton Rouge. And he's got 82 yards on the ground so far. He comes out. Terrence McGee checks into the LSU backfield. And 3rd down and 10 for Zach Mettenberger. Sets in the pocket, deep on the right sideline. It's caught by Landry. .27 yards, first down.
This is tremendous concentration by Landry because he's got to find the ball through the arms of the defender who's right there on him. That's Robinson Thurisi. Excellent job concentrating on the football and catching it as he was going to the ground.
First down at the 16 of Auburn. Threatening again, and again we told you, other than a kneel down, LSU's been perfect in the red zone this year. Cut back by McGee to the inside, picks up 3.
Again, a lot of times what LSU likes to do in this part of the field, they'll have the 2 tight ends in, they'll show a run formation, a power run, and then they'll get a one-on-one route with a 1 receiver. In this case, it's Odell Beckham Jr., number 3, who's in the ball game down at the bottom.
2nd down and 7. They'll give it to McGee. Only got a yard. Nice job by Thurisi to make the stop. And it'll bring up 3rd down. LSU can actually get a first down, but they'd have to get basically all the way to the 1 yard line to do so. Landry has a couple of third down catches on this drive already. There he is, number 80. Third down and 6. The third wide out is number 86, Boone, and he's to the bottom of your screen. They're going to run it or try to, and the ball is out, covered by Auburn at the 2 yard line. So LSU makes a mistake. And that saves a certain score.
Angelo Blackson got good penetration. He was the first guy to alter the course of the running back, McGee. And as McGee is going down to the ground, the ball is stripped out. And again, a wet football. McGee hasn't been in the game as much. Ryan White's able to get his hands on it. Ball's out. And Auburn, they didn't get the stop on the previous third down play, but they got an even better stop with a turnover on that third down play.
That's only the second fumble lost by the backs of LSU in the last 412 rushing attempts. Now, let's see if Auburn can get out of their own territory. They'll try it with a quarterback draw, Marshall, and he gives them a little more room to work. Welter, the middle linebacker, made the stop, and Nick Marshall got 6 yards.
One of the guys that needs to become a factor for Auburn in this ball game. He's been very quiet so far. Sammy Coates, probably their best big play receiver. Number 18, he's a big target at 6'2", 200 pounds. They got to get him involved in the football game.
They haven't even targeted him yet. Here's Trey Mason with a first down run out across the 20. So that temporarily quiets the LSU crowd here, who were expecting to be up 21-0 about a minute ago. And as it is, as we wind the last minute of the first quarter down, Auburn's taking it out across the 20 out to the 22.
I think as Gus Malzahn gets more comfortable with his quarterback, he'll try to play faster. Right now, not a very fast pace.
Quick throw. That might be a lateral, but it's complete, and it's going nowhere. Trevon Reed, no gain. Welter and Jones combine on the stop, and it brings up second down and 10.
Auburn is playing faster than they did a year ago. 7 seconds faster, but they're really not playing that much faster than the average speed in college football. And again, that's because of the newness and the inexperience of Nick Marshall. So Gus is trying to look at the defense and call the plays once he sees the defense to help his quarterback.
He'll have a chance to talk to his quarterback because the first quarter comes to a close. And so far, all LSU, some mistakes made by Auburn, have led to touchdowns, and the Tigers at home leading 14-0.
Fourth down, 10 yards to go, 1:47 to go in the game. LSU wins or loses on this play, it would appear.
They called it the earthquake game. They're celebrating the 25th anniversary. There's Tommy Hudson, the guy that threw the touchdown pass to Eddie Fuller in the back of the end zone. And the crowd was so loud that across campus, basically a seismograph thought that there was an earthquake going on here in Death Valley.
They had actually run that play earlier in the possession, and Fuller wasn't able to come down with the ball in the back of the end zone. On fourth down, he did.
Quick pass here, Trey Mason, a blocker in front, and gets it out to the 29-yard line. Pickup of about 7. Half the turf. Roscoe comes out to get his helmet cleaned. Meanwhile, it's 3rd down and 2 for Auburn. Marshall rolling to throw. Fires, wobbly pass, too high, intended for Brandon Fultz. And it's 4th down.
That's a tough throw. I mean, even on good conditions, that's a hard throw to make. I think what Gus is telling him is if that underneath the shorter route is there, we need the 1st down. Go ahead and take the shorter throw, and we'll save that tougher one for later in the game.
We won't keep reminding Stephen Clark that he dropped the first snap of the ball game. He takes this one cleanly and kicks it away. Odell Beckham with a fair catch at the 27-yard line. So LSU will take over, up a couple of touchdowns here in the opening minutes of the 2nd quarter. Let's check in with Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, here's the man himself, Tommy Hodson, who threw that touchdown all these years later. What does it mean to you have so many people still care about it 25 years later?
Well, it says a lot about the LSU football history for sure. There's been a lot of great plays, and I know the team, we're just so grateful to be part of that special play 25 years ago. It's unbelievable.
I saw all of you guys out there watching it again on the Jumbotron. What do you guys remember specifically about that moment in time?
Well, it was a long drive to get down there, so everybody was really calm, and we were beat up pretty good by Auburn that night, and we just knew we had one play left, and we put it together, and we're able to make a big play and score. It's been great.
Thank you. Still making noise all these years later.
Thank you.
Zach Mettenberger making a little noise with that throw out across the 40 to Odell Beckham in front of Jonathan Mincy.
See, again, because of the talent of Landry and Beckham, LSU can go a lot of max protection and only go 2 men out on the pass route and expect those 2 guys, one of them, to get open and catch the football. That's great pass protection because you have extra bodies and 2 talented receivers.
Go back to the 2 tight end set with an eye backfield, and Beckham as the only wide out. Jeremy Hill, the tailback, who's had a big night already, and he adds a few more yards to it to the 45. Delaney made the stop.
Had 117 yards last week in their win, including a 57-yard touchdown, which was his career long.
He was suspended for the first game of the season, and that's why we didn't see him in the TCU game. But he's come storming back now that he's back in the lineup. Got 4 on the last carry. 2nd down and 6. Here he comes again behind his fullback and into the secondary. Jeremy Hill. He might take it all the way again. Inside the 5-yard line. Down at the 2. Shaken up. But another long run. 54 yards this time.
Well, again, they run to the left behind Alexander, the left guard, and watch the fullback, Copeland, leading the way. I mean, he is punishing the inside linebackers for Auburn. And then once Hill gets into the secondary, he's 235 pounds, and you don't want to come up and tackle him. I mean, he is making people miss in the second level, but beautiful blocking at the point of attack, particularly by the fullback, J.C. Copeland.
Only averaging 17.5 a carry so far tonight. Career high rushing with 140. Career long run of 54. Gets him right down there. And now they'll maybe put it to Copeland, the big fella. And he's in. Touchdown. The fullback, J.C. Copeland, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the year, and salutes the crowd as it's about to be 21-0. Delahousie in for the point after. Up and good. All Tigers of LSU so far early in the 2nd quarter. Jeremy Hill, career night, and we're not even at halftime. 54-yarder. That got him down to the 1. Then why not give it to your 270-pound fullback, J.C. Copeland, 21-0 LSU. Time for our Discover Game Changer. Here's a dude that'll change your game in a hurry. Jeremy Hill had a 49-yard touchdown earlier, 10 yards out. That was after a fumbled punt snap. And then he just ripped off a career-long 54-yarder, ledge down to the 1-yard line where they took it in again.
Well, he's just such a powerful back, and most of the damage coming right in between the guards following his fullback, J.C. Copeland. When he gets to the second level of your defense, he's 235 pounds, so good luck tackling him if you're a safety or a cornerback, especially when he has a full head of steam. They've had excellent blocking at the point of attack, and then he is doing the rest once he gets into the second level of your defense.
Auburn had done a good job in their first 3 games, but we said this is a different situation on the road in the SEC against the number 6 team in the country. Auburn will start from the 25 after we check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
On the road against UConn, and Devin Gardner has thrown another interception, but Devin gives the ball away from time to time. He also accounts for a lot of touchdowns. Old 98 runs it in. Michigan's on top of UConn late in the first. It's on ABC and the Watch ESPN app.
All right, Reese, thanks. Here, Todd, Auburn's got to get something going or this thing can get way out of hand.
Well, and they have to figure out a way to get a couple chunk plays. I mean, something where they throw the ball down the field and get some sizable yardage on 1 or 2 plays.
High snap, quick throw, out, complete to Ricardo Lewis. He only got a couple, maybe 3 out of it.
The LSU's defense is too fast to just dink and dunk. We saw that in the first game. TCU couldn't threaten their defense down the field, and the more that game went on, the more they just squeezed that offense down. You've got to be able to stretch them and threaten them vertically in order to have a chance.
Only 20 yards on 4 completions so far for Nick Marshall. This time he wanted to go downfield with it and still may. On the run, he throws, and it's going to be intercepted by Loston, Craig Loston, the senior safety, with the interception.
This one he tried to force. He's rolling to his right. He gets flushed out of the pocket. He tries to throw back across his body late.
LSU Tigers. That was the second BCS championship of a 7-year run for the SEC, including back-to-back for Alabama. And the Tide, of course, ranked number 1 in the country again right now. But the 6th-ranked LSU Tigers have dominated this first half. They lead by 3 scores, and they've got it back after Auburn turned it over on downs. Oh, Zach Mettenberger dropped the snap, and they'll drop him for a loss. Casanova McKenzie came in there. And again, a wet night.
Yeah, all the little things that are normally automatic, center quarterback exchange, you just have to pay a little extra attention. Just wasn't cleanly fielded by Mettenberger. We've seen drop punt snap by Auburn. We've seen the ball come out, a couple running backs. So it's just extra caution with ball security on a night like this.
Only a loss of a yard for Mettenberger, and now the stretch play to Hill, who's been the star of the half, heading to the corner. That's going to be a horse collar. I think
there it is.
Chris Frost got his hand in there on the back of the shoulder pads to bring down Hill. It's about the only way they've been able to bring Jeremy Hill down tonight so far. It's going to be the first Auburn penalty, and here's Tom Ritter with the call.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 17 defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Frost heads to the sideline, and Jake Holland comes back in.
Well, he got the face mask first, and then he got the horse collar second. So either way, he was guilty. And here comes a shot, I think, by LSU. I think they'll try to go to Odell Beckham Jr. to the end zone on this play. After the penalty in Auburn territory, play action, deep ball.
You see Beckham to the bottom there, the only wide receiver in this set at the 42-yard line. Now Auburn sneaks another safety up there. Hill brought down by Therese as we check in with Reese.
Brad, Texas and Kansas State, Mac Brown's been under pressure, under criticism for their last 2 losses. David Ash finding Kendall Sanders all by himself. And the Longhorn defense has shut out the Wildcats so far. It's 10-0 Longhorns. It's on ABC or the Watch ESPN app.
All right, Reese, thanks. Here, 21-0 LSU leading Auburn with 6.5 to go in the half. And a 2nd and 4 at the Auburn 36.
10 guys around the line of scrimmage. Single coverage on Mincy. Now a safety backs out a little bit.
Here's a pitch. And Auburn had Jeremy Hill bottled up that time. No gain. Jermaine Whitehead is the guy that made the first play, and a good one.
See, I understand you got a 21-point lead and you don't need to score again right away, but well, you've got the situation you want. Odell Beckham Jr. was single coverage on a smaller defensive back, and everybody in around the line of scrimmage trying to stop Jeremy Hill on 1st and 2nd down.
Now Beckham and Landry and Boone all to the right of Zach Mettenberger on 3rd down and 4. And now Landry in motion. Wants to go that way. Comes back the other way, looking for help. Throws back across his body, intended for Boone, and that's incomplete. And it's 4th down.
See the anticipated man coverage on this play, and Auburn jumped into a zone. So they had Beckham Jr. covered going deep. Mettenberger wasn't able to throw on time and ended up having to throw the ball away.
So Jamie Keene will come in to punt. Quan Bray will drop back. Sir Keene will try to keep it out of his hands and knock it down inside the 10 somewhere. Little hesitation, then just pooches it down there. Fair catch, taken right at the 10. So Auburn's got it back, but they're down 3 touchdowns. Reminder for you tomorrow. Get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN at 10 o'clock. Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman and the gang provide all the latest news and updates from around the league right up until kickoff. And at 11 on ESPN2, you can catch Fantasy Football Now for the latest news, injury reports, and predictions for the top fantasy performers. All tomorrow morning right here on ESPN. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew in Death Valley at Tiger Stadium, where the first 6 possessions haven't amounted to much for Auburn. Again, the short throw out in the flat, and might have been a face mask there too, or close to it. Ricardo Lewis spins his way out for about a 7-yard gain.
You know, last year when these teams played over in Auburn, LSU won 12-10, and Auburn had a miserable offensive night. 52 offensive plays, 183 total yards, 3 turnovers. They were only 3 of 12 on 3rd down, and I'm sure they were hoping for better results tonight, but so far in the first half, not much.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 18 defense. It's 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Lamine Barrow with the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, so that'll give Auburn some positive yardage. I didn't see what happened after the play. Okay, now we're going to see it. Oh, well, yeah, he gave Ricardo Lewis one right in the face mask.
Yeah, that's an easy one to call.
So 1st down, Auburn at its own 32. Trey Mason tries a little skip step, a side step, and does well to get out around the 38-yard line. Down to 5 minutes remaining in the half. Auburn changing up personnel, bringing out new wide receivers, including Fultz, a tight end, who's the biggest guy right there in the slot on the right side. 2nd and 4. Again, Marshall checks to the sideline, as do the rest of the skill position players. Mason trying to take it wide. Not going to get much out of this. Again, LSU stretches it out. Hunter got penetration, and then Big Ego Ferguson took him out of bounds.
That's the one thing that's impressive about these two tackles, Anthony Johnson and Ego Ferguson, is they don't just make plays when the ball's run right at them. They make plays running to the sideline. They work hard, they finish plays, and they make a lot of tackles just by effort and hustle.
Ego is Ego Jr. His dad also Ego. Said a lot of people just called me Junior till I got to Hargrave Military Academy, and then they started calling me Ego. And that play broken up, intended for Marcus Davis. And Welter, the middle linebacker, made the play.
Nick Marshall has just been a little bit off tonight. And even if that ball is complete, Welter is right there to make a tackle short of the first down. Again, nothing pushing this defense. Everything is getting squeezed right now, and all the plays are kind of going sideways for Auburn.
Stephen Clark, the senior for Auburn, set to punt. Odell Beckham is going to have to call another fair catch and takes it just inside the 20-yard line. 3:54 remaining in the half. And we check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
Brad, not too far away from the Buick halftime report. Florida beat Tennessee this afternoon, but lost Jeff Driscoll for the season. What's next for the Gators without their quarterback? Texas is showing a little fight. Bevo finally happy, at least in the early going against Kansas State. And I know it's not a huge game for Texas A&M, but it is Johnny Manziel, and it's worth seeing the highlights. Anytime Johnny football plays, we'll show you what the Aggies are doing to the Mustangs. And you come back in just a bit.
All right, see you guys at halftime, which is a little under 4 minutes away. LSU with a 3-touchdown lead, the ball back at the Tigers' 19-yard line. Mettenberger, the give to Hill. Picked up about 3. Again, Jeremy Hill's already got a career high going just in this half, and he'll just continue to add to it here every time he touches it. Had a 54-yard run. Also had a touchdown run of 43 yards. Beg your pardon, 49 yards. He's got 151 so far in the first half on 14 carries. That is a big night, much less a big half. Trying to get that mouthpiece in before the snap here on 2nd down and 7. Play action, Mettenberger, heavy pressure. They're going to get to him. Boy, quickly, Casanova McKenzie got in that LSU backfield.
Well, LSU's gotten a little bit conservative here with the 21-point lead. McKenzie comes right off the edge, and he beats the tackle. The fullback, Copeland, actually hurt his tackle. Gerald Hawkins got knocked off his block a little bit by the fullback trying to get out in that back to help. Sometimes you want him to get out of your way so he doesn't knock you off your mark.
Copeland's hard to get out of the way himself. Yeah. 3rd down and 11 with the sack. Again, Auburn brings a lot of bodies up close to the line of scrimmage. And LSU is going to take a timeout.
LSU, that is their second charge timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
2:20 remaining in the half. And with a quick break here, why don't we check in and see what Todd had to eat this week on Taste of the Town.
It's been said that location is everything in the restaurant business. Well, right under Highway 10 on Perkins Avenue, years it's been owned by Rodney Smokey Bourgeois and run by his longtime manager, Tony Lanata. The place is known for its character and its colorful characters. I love the vibe and the feel here, but what brought me to George's is their reputation for fried shrimp po' boys and thin sliced fried catfish. Add some jalapeno cheese fries and I won't need to eat for a week. As they like to say down here, oil, only in Louisiana. Good night.
Oh my goodness. And only you can get a sandwich that big and get your mouth wrapped around it. No more on that in a second here on a 3rd down and 11. Mettenberger standing in the backfield tall, goes down again, so they sack him 2nd time in this series. Okay, the catfish was awesome because I went with you this time.
Yeah. And, you know, the thing was, is I asked for some catfish with the po' boy.
Right.
And they brought you a little bowl of catfish.
Yes.
They brought me that gigantic plate, you know, so my reputation precedes me, you know, wherever I go.
And the fries were awesome, too.
The fries were really good.
They
and,
had,
you know, we got those for because they were so pretty looking.
They were.
You know. And you helped me with those.
I want to thank Tony
that.
and Smokey, too, because they gave me something to go, and you didn't know about this, but I got a muffalata.
Oh, you did?
I got a muffalata, which is an Italian type of sandwich with salami and all that muffalata loaf, and it was created about 100 years ago down at the City Grocery in New Orleans.
All right.
And so I took that home, and that's what I had last night to eat.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
2:08. You heard Reese. He's coming up at halftime with more on Florida's loss of Jeff Driscoll. Out for the season with a broken bone in his leg. His team rallied.
Right. You know, they'll get into their Big Ten schedule now, and we'll start to find out more. But the great news for the Buckeyes and Buckeye fans is if Braxton Miller can't go at another point in the year, boy, you know you're okay with Kenny Guyton.
And you talk about not knowing quite what Ohio State's got. That's what we said coming into this game, too. We'd find out what these two groups of Tigers are about. And so far, it's all about LSU. Here's Quan Bray taking it on the run and getting buried on the punt. And Seth Rouge, the long snapper, got down there to make the hit. Well, they were widely regarded as football's first family. They are still. Don't miss a revisit the upbringing of the Manning brothers with never-before-seen footage and stories from their beginnings in New Orleans to their ascent to NFL stardom. Book of Manning, Tuesday on ESPN, and watch it live on Watch ESPN. And, of course, Eli Peyton's having the better year so far. But you mix Archie and Cooper in there, and I can't wait to see that.
I can't either. Of course, and we're going to see Ole Miss next week against Alabama, where Archie and Eli played.
Draw play this time to Mason. And Mason, nice run before Loston puts a head in there and stops him at the 49-yard line. Auburn's deepest penetration so far has been the LSU 41-yard line, and then they fumbled on a 4th down. They're back in LSU territory, but only a minute 33 remaining in the half. And they've only got one timeout left. Marshall fires too high again, intended for Sammy Coates, and at least they aimed one at Coates. Todd was saying earlier, number 18's got to get involved. They tried to get him involved there, and the pass was errant.
Well, as comfortable and as poised as Nick Marshall looked last week, throwing for 339 yards against Mississippi State in their comeback win, he just has not looked the same tonight. The weather has been part of it, but he has just not looked as comfortable throwing against this LSU defense.
Auburn is now 1 for 8 on 3rd down conversions tonight.
You know what? You got to say something about this LSU defense. Again, they lost a lot of players from last year into the NFL draft. Many of them juniors who could have come back and played another year. And so a lot of these guys that are stepping up and playing a lot of snaps for LSU, not household names, but they are getting better and better each week.
11 guys went to the NFL, the most ever for one team in a single season. Well, they've tried on 4th down a couple of times tonight. 3 times, in fact. They're 0 for so far. This is another 4th and 3. I'm not so sure they might not just take this down and then kick it. Trying to waste some time so they don't give LSU any time to do anything offensively. Final timeout for Auburn with 36 seconds left in the half. The SEC on ESPN from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana tonight. And the hometown team, they're already celebrating here just prior to halftime, as well they should. They've led throughout, up 21-0. So Auburn did run it down just to try to use some clock, and we'll punt it here. Clark to kick, and Odell Beckham back on the other end. The snap was a little bit wide, but he handled it and gets the punt away, and Beckham's just going to get out of the way and let this one go into the end zone. LSU, their offense shining with 21 points, but their defense, Todd, as you said, playing great.
Well, coming into the game, they'd only given up 267 yards per game. That was 10th in the country, 3rd in the SEC. We thought this would be a better challenge for them tonight, but so far in the first half, they have really rattled Nick Marshall. They have played beautifully, particularly on 3rd down and 4th down. They've really stifled any significant drives that Auburn's had all night.
They've only given up 104 total yards, as you see here in the first half. And Auburn's going to take a knee and head to the locker room, up 21-0. So the first 2 quarters dominated by the LSU Tigers, looking for their 29th straight win in the month of September. Some of those big fellas going to take their time getting to the locker room as we check in with Les Miles and Holly Rowe.
Well, how do you describe the running attack of Jeremy Hill tonight, Coach?
The first half was a handling the weather. I mean, it was a real heavy mist for this stadium and a strong wind. And really, you know, we got too tight and ran the football and blocked well up front, and he ran extremely well.
Your defense has been terrific as well. What do you like the most about what they've been able to do?
I just, you know, they continue to tackle well and take the line of scrimmage. We'll like the outcome.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, he's halfway to the outcome that he wants, that's for sure. Leading at halftime, 21-0, as we're going to send it back to Reese and the guys and the Buick halftime report, fellas. And for the 48th time, the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers. There they go, Jeremy Hill, and he breaks into the secondary. Hill, he's going to take it. Jeremy Hill, touchdown. And now he dropped the snap, and he's going to get dropped at the 9-yard line. The stretch play to Hill, straight up the middle, barely touched. Here he comes again behind his fullback and into the secondary. Jeremy Hill inside the 5-yard line. The fullback, J.C. Copeland, his second rushing touchdown of the year, and salutes the crowd as it's about to be 21-0. Which is exactly what it is as we welcome you back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. All LSU in the first half. As you take a look statistically, 152 of those yards. Jeremy Hills, they didn't have to pass it too much. And one of the turnovers suffered by Auburn turned in to 7 points. Welcome back to Death Valley, everybody. Brad Nessler and Todd Blackledge. One play for Auburn over 10 yards in the first half. That's not going to cut it. And LSU did about whatever they wanted to do in Act 1. What do they do for Act 2?
Well, I thought they got really conservative in the second quarter. The rain has stopped. I would expect they get the ball to start the third quarter. I think LSU will be very aggressive, try to put a couple more touchdowns. They've got the game in hand, but I think for a couple reasons. They want to finish with some momentum because they go to Athens next week, too. A very strong test. Georgia playing pretty good football. So I think they'll really come out here in the third quarter and be aggressive offensively and try to put the passing game back in order.
Well, if they win this game, that will set up the battle with Georgia, the SEC East team that won today in a non-conference game. Remember, LSU won the toss at the beginning of the ball game and deferred, so they're going to get the football first, as Todd said, to start the second half. And Cody Parkey will kick. Odell Beckham Jr. and McGee, and a pooch kick, and it's fair caught at the 44-yard line as we check in with Holly.
Well, the good news down here on the field at Tiger Stadium is it has finally stopped raining. Gus Malzahn is thrilled. He said maybe we can actually throw the ball now. It was a blinding rain in their face for much of that first half, but he said, look, we laid an egg. Nick Marshall made a couple of mental errors, and those snowballed on him. He said he just got to go out and play and really let it loose in this second half.
So both teams may be thinking that. Todd thinks LSU will do it, and Gus has already told Holly that that's what they plan to do. And they have nothing to lose, trailing by 3 touchdowns. So opening snap of the third quarter. Tigers of LSU from their 43. And Mettenberger, just like that, wants to throw. Tight coverage, intercepted. Pulled away. Jermaine Whitehead trying to get a pass to Jarvis Landry. That's the first interception of the year thrown by Zach Mettenberger.
Well, the pass was a little bit behind Landry, and normally this is a ball that Landry, who has extremely large and strong hands, is going to wrestle away. But credit Whitehead. He did not give up on the play. It was thrown behind Landry, and Whitehead stepped in front and made a huge interception.
So you couldn't ask for anything better if you're Gus Malzahn. The ball back after one snap into your offense hands and at midfield. Marshall quarterback draw. Got about 6. Aline Barrow on his back along with DJ Welter.
I think Auburn should try to go a little tempo here. I know they didn't feel comfortable in that first half on the road with Nick Marshall and the rain. I think they've got to try to change speeds of the game a little bit here and see if they can get LSU's defense out of sync and out of rhythm a little bit.
Marshall in the gun with Trey Mason with him on 2nd down and 3. Gives it off to Mason, trying to take it wide. Little hurdle job to get a yard. Had to work hard for that. Welter and Lawson bring him down as we check in with Holly.
Well, guys, in the first half, quarterback for Auburn, Nick Marshall, had put on 2 wide receivers' gloves. The ball was slippery. It was raining very hard. But now to come out and start the second half, you can see he's taken that glove off his right throwing hand. We'll see if some of his touch returns here in the second half.
Good eye, Holly. 3rd down and 2. Don't want to waste the interception. And the throw's complete, and they've got a 1st down. It's out. Sammy Coates. Finally, Coates has got a catch.
This is a little bit of a wrinkle off of the zone read. Instead of the quarterback just keeping it and running it, he can throw that ball out quickly after the play fake. And here they go tempo after the 1st down.
At the 28-yard line. Mason skips it outside. Got the corner, or what he could of it, before Micah Eugene knocked him out of bounds.
It's easier for them to go tempo when the ball is on the hash mark closest to their sideline. It's easier to get their personnel on the field and to play faster.
He got 6, 2nd down and 4. This is the deepest penetration on the night for Auburn. And inside the 20 and about a yard shy of the 1st down is Trey Mason.
You have to be thinking touchdown here. You can't be thinking settle for a field goal. You've got an interception. You've got it deep in LSU territory. You got to make it pay off with a touchdown.
You see the frustration on Gus Malzahn because he wants to go a million miles an hour and just can't quite do it yet with this young quarterback. 3rd and a yard. Mason got the 1st. Off to the races inside the 5-yard line. Best run of the night by Trey Mason. 21-7 LSU. That's Jake Lemke, the long snapper. You're not allowed to run those guys over.
Yeah, Ego Ferguson is the guilty party right in there, number 9. He's going to run right through Lemke. 15-yard penalty assessed on the kickoff, and now let's see if Auburn tries another tricky type of a kickoff. See if they can create another turnover.
With the 15 yards, they're kicking it from midfield. Cody Parkey, last time it was a pooch kick to the far side of the field. This time they're going to line drive it down, and Odell Beckham will have to let it roll to the back of the end zone. And LSU will come out to the 25. So you couldn't ask for a better 2.5 minutes if you're an Auburn fan.
Yeah, the good news was they didn't have to drive the football a long way against this LSU defense. Yards have been hard to come by for them, but they capitalized on the turnover.
Let's see if that shakes Zach Mettenberger's confidence any after throwing his first pick of the year against 9 touchdown passes.
Last year in SEC competition, Zach Mettenberger threw 5 touchdowns and he had 5 turnovers. Did more of his damage, only threw 12 touchdowns for the whole season. And as you mentioned, 9 already in 2013.
Jeremy Hill spins away, and again he's into the 2nd level before he's dragged down by Jonathan Mincy. And I think he hurt himself on that last one. He landed funny.
Yeah, he got tackled, spun kind of awkwardly at the end of the play. Again, running to the left behind the fullback Copeland, who got a nice block on Jake Holland. And at the end of the play, just the way he twisted down, a little awkward.
That left knee got buckled under him. He's trying to stretch it off on the sideline on a career night for him. Just added more to it, up to 166 yards. Kenny Hilliard will take his spot now as the tailback for LSU. First down at the 47. Trying to answer Auburn's touchdown here early in the third quarter. Hilliard stood up at the line. Nice job by Casanova McKenzie to make the stop. Auburn's offense scoring a touchdown. It's fired up their defense a little bit here, too.
Well, they got the turnover on the first possession. A little more aggressive, a little more bounce in the step.
Well, Jeremy Hill says, I'm fine. Put me back in. 3 wide out group. Wide receiver screen to Landry. Got a block from Boone and down the sideline and gone. Jarvis Landry, touchdown. That's how you answer the touchdown by Auburn.
Well, I'm wondering if Jeremy Hill was not set on the play. He was moving, trying to get the call, and Zach Mettenberger was trying to go fast on the play. I'm not sure what the penalty is going to be. We expected Auburn to use tempo.
During the run, holding number 86, offense, 10-yard penalty.
I said a good Boone, a block by Boone. I guess it was too good.
LSU caught Auburn napping a little bit. They went tempo, and Auburn was not set with their defense. Boone out there blocking in front. That's pretty close. He had his hands on the inside, which you tell your guys to do. When that hand gets outside the shoulder pad, that's usually where they call holding. But when they're inside, it's usually a clean block.
It was a gain of 10, a spot foul, a penalty of 15. So it's back at the 47-yard line and not a touchdown. And I thought that looked like a pretty good block the first time, and I thought so on the replay. Mettenberger, deep middle. Wide open is a tight end, and Dixon all the way down inside the 10. Well, they get a big pass play out of it anyway, but this time it's their tight end. That's his biggest play of the year.
2 safety look. The middle of the field is open. Mettenberger reads it, gets the ball to Dixon in the middle, and now they're going tempo.
Throw out to Landry. Got a block again from Boone. And then he got dragged down. He's going in the end zone saying that his knee didn't touch.
Kind of like the aggressiveness of LSU, though, going with tempo. Here's the end of the play. Mincy trying to bring him down to the ground. Now his head hit. His hand hit first, but then his head, I think, is what's going to count him as down.
Kept his balance, got in the end zone, but it's out at the 6-yard line right now.
Tremendous effort, though.
Timeout, LSU as their first charge timeout.
And Les Miles wants him to look at this, taking a timeout with 10:13 remaining in the third quarter. So Auburn scored a touchdown. LSU is threatening right now with a 2nd down and goal and leading by 14. So Les calls the first of LSU's timeouts. Zach Mettenberger on the drive so far, 4 for 4 after throwing the interception. So he answered the question I had, whether his confidence be shaken at all by the interception.
Well, and it shouldn't be. You know, it was just a little bit off. He's thrown the ball well all season, and he was just a little bit behind.
Jarvis Landry showing his disgust, thinking he should have had a touchdown, but his head went down at the 6-yard line right there, and so was his elbow down with a football in it.
And anything other than the hand or the feet, you're down at that point.
So the fans are booing, but they don't have the opportunity to see everything we see at this particular point. So Les Miles called a timeout, and the ball's 2nd down and goal at the 6-yard line. Hill the tailback behind Copeland. And here he comes, and there he goes. Touchdown, LSU. 3rd of the night for Jeremy Hill.
Logan Stokes and Dylan Gordon, the 2 tight ends lined up on the edge here, 84 and 85, both with excellent blocks to secure the corner. That play was designed to go inside, but Hill smartly popped it outside for an easy touchdown.
And Hawkins, the right tackle, is shaken up on that play, trying to lead the way in the blocking. But LSU had a great answer to Auburn's touchdown with one of their own. It took it 75 yards to do so. Delahousie in for the point after. Up and good. With a little over 10 minutes remaining. It was the pass from Mettenberger to the tight end Hickson that got him down close, and then Jeremy Hill, who's having a monster night, takes it 6 yards for his third touchdown.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and Inc., the small business card from Chase. Learn more at chase.com/Inc.
It's turned into a nice night now that the rain has stopped. Around 70 degrees, 28-7, and time for our Aflac trivia question. Who's the last LSU player to rush for 200 yards or more in a game? Jeremy Hill's on his way. Think about that one. Career night for Jeremy, 172 and 3 scores.
And look at the average per carry.
Man,
every time he touches it.
we might have the makings of the SEC Offensive Player of the Week in our ball game. James Hairston to kick. And Trey Mason just got to let it go, and they'll bring it out to the 25. Let's check in the studio. Here's Reese.
Brad, Sports Center right now, brought to you by Ally Bank. The story in the SEC today, Florida quarterback Jeff Driscoll on this pick 6 he threw against Tennessee. He suffered a broken fibula. He is out for the season. Florida did come back to win the game 31-17, but a tough break for the Gator quarterback.
A tough break for sure. The touchdown. They've got Kyle Frazier in there right now in the Wildcat. And here comes an end around. Ricardo Lewis. And did all that running for 2 yards.
It's impressive how quickly LSU's defense recovered on that misdirection play. I mean, at first it looked like it was set up to gain some yardage. You want to attack a fast defense with misdirection, and then all of a sudden it was nothing. It looked good for a brief moment, and then LSU collapsed on it.
There's John Chavis, the defensive coordinator. His group has done an exceptional job tonight. 3-yard gain for Trey Mason. He lost all those good guys to the NFL, and we were talking about that earlier. He said to us, graduation doesn't take away tradition, though. We play good defense at LSU, and I expect these guys that maybe you don't know a lot about to play just as good as the guys that are gone. 3rd down at 5. Comes a blitz on Marshall, and it's tipped at the line of scrimmage and almost intercepted. Jordan Allen batted it down.
That's about the 3rd pass of Marshall's that's been tipped. 2 by hands and 1 by Ego Ferguson's head. But the bottom line is he's not a particularly tall quarterback, and he's not able to find the passing lanes. And most of them have been, I think all of them maybe, have been on 3rd down.
Odell Beckham still itching to get his hands on a punt return that he can field and run back. Clark hasn't let him do that tonight, either by keeping it away from him or kicking it so high. And again, he's got a call for a fair catch. And takes it around the 33-yard line. 8:54 remaining in the quarter. LSU's got it back with a 3-touchdown lead. Well, just a couple of minutes ago, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who was the last LSU player to rush for 200 yards or more in a game? I don't have any idea, Todd. Ali Broussard against Ole Miss went for 250, they tell me, down in the truck. All right. Well, Jeremy Hill, he gets his hands on it a few more times on this drive. Might be the next guy that's got 200. For LSU, seems like it's always been a story, and it's no different this year. Hill, the starter. Alfred Blue started the first game we saw against TCU, and then you got McGee comes in, and he goes for over 100 a couple of times, and now Kenny Hilliard
Well, and the amazing thing about their depth is all 4 of these guys have led the team in rushing at least one time. They've all been over 100 yards in a game at least once, and they've all had games where they've scored multiple touchdowns. So they're very versatile, very deep, and that really helps them in recruiting as well, because you know you're going to get to play.
Yep. Here's Hilliard again. Pickup of 5 more. Kenny, the nephew of former LSU and Saints great Dalton Hilliard.
Just to finish that on the running backs, the other thing I think it does is it keeps them fresh. So when you get into the 4th quarter and you really need to run the football to maintain a lead, you got fresh legs in the backfield.
3rd down and 5. Mettenberger looking to throw the slants. Got it to Jarvis Landry. Landry off to the races. All the way down to the 36-yard line. 26-yard pickup.
Well, he had his choice. He had Dixon on the crossing route early. He waited for Landry, who got inside Therese. And again, he's got those strong hands in the middle of the field, and he's very good after the catch.
Back to the ground game, and Hilliard, nice run of about 6 yards. We got flags down in the secondary, however.
Well, the flags are thrown. It has to be an illegal substitution or participation on one of the teams. Somebody had too many guys on the field, I think.
And it might have been that the Auburn defender that was shaken up, and that was Therese, didn't get off the field in time. That could be the call, too. Let's see. Landry's got 6 catches. 3 of them have come on 3rd down, including that 26-yard pickup. And still no indication. Now we'll get the call from Tom.
There's no foul on the play for substitution. The 11th player was running off the field, therefore there is no foul.
All right, well, he
so
was running off the field, but he's legal to be out there. So they played with 10, basically. Jeremy Hill back in with Mettenberger in the shotgun on 2nd down and 3. They fake it to him. He's going to loft one over here to the corner intended for Odell Beckham, and Beckham thinks that he was interfered with back there by Ryan White.
No, that's not what the penalty is. The penalty is there was an offensive lineman running about 3 yards behind the wide receiver. So there's an illegal man downfield. That was the guy who came in, Evan Washington, when Trey Turner got hurt. Evan obviously thought it was a different play.
Yes, he did. He was motoring down there, though. All 335 pounds of him.
Pass interference, number 19, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Wow.
And they don't call the one that we thought we saw, but they did call the one I thought I saw, or that Odell Beckham was hoping for.
Yeah,
a little bit of a hold right there, and then a bump right there.
Wow, he never let go.
No.
I mean, he had him from start to finish.
So 1st down at the 15 for LSU. Threatening again here and leading by 3 touchdowns. Jeremy Hill. This time they stand him up at the line of scrimmage, and he only got about a yard. We approach 7 minutes. 2nd and long coming up for the Tigers.
LSU, one of those traditional teams you don't see too much anymore. Teams that get in a huddle, teams that run a lot of tight ends, fullback plays. But they've also used a little tempo tonight and been successful with it.
Beckham to the left and Landry to the right on a 2nd and 9. Mettenberger looking on the fade to Beckham, and it's in and out of his hands. And Ryan White broke that one up.
Ryan White made a nice instinctive play at the end. Zach Mettenberger's been coached and taught that if the defender has his back to you, go ahead and throw it. The guy's open. And Beckham had a chance to get 2 hands on the ball, but as soon as Ryan White saw Beckham's eyes and hands go for the ball, he turned and looked and got a hand in and knocked it away. That's well played by Ryan White.
That was interesting what Cam Cameron was telling us, that very thing. If the defender's back's to you and there's a 4-inch window, let her rip. There's Cam offensive coordinator, his first season here at LSU. So 3rd down and 10. First down could come at around the 4-yard line. Mettenberger coming to the end zone this way to Beckham and way over his head. So LSU is going to have to settle for a field goal. That'll bring out Delahousie. He's going to try about a 31-yard field goal upcoming. Hasn't missed a field goal yet this year, but hasn't had to hit anything too long either. They're going to call it a 30-yard attempt from right in the middle of the field. And it's a fake taken by the holder. And did he get a first down? I think he's short. Seth Rouge almost got it. Well, it was worth a try, I guess. Les has been known to do that on occasion, maybe more than just an occasion.
Well, he came up just short. He's got Copeland, the fullback, who's blocked so well for Jeremy Hill tonight. He's leading the way. Rouge just doesn't quite get to the marker, but now you play to your defense. Say, okay, we got a 95-yard field. Go ahead and get a stop for us.
Auburn buried deep in their own territory, but they do have the ball back when we come back. The SEC on ESPN. There's a coach's trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. The trophy awarded to the winner of the Vizio BCS National Championship game played on January 6th, 2014 in Pasadena. Nick Saban's got 3 of those crystal balls hanging around someplace over Tuscaloosa, which is where we'll be next week as they take on the undefeated Rebels of Ole Miss. Hope you join us next Saturday night from T-Town. So Auburn takes over at the 6. Second time that LSU's come up short in the red zone. They fumbled one, and then on that fake field goal attempt, Auburn takes over on downs as they come up just short. Trey Mason straight ahead out to the 12. Quan Alexander made the tackle. Auburn's just been unable to get anything going with their passing game tonight. A struggling night for Nick Marshall. He's going to keep this one on the zone read, and he gets a first down. And Loston cuts back inside when it looked like he was going to go out of bounds. A 14-yard pickup.
He's done a pretty good job reading that play tonight. He's given it off most of the time. That time the correct read to keep it and get around the outside for a first down.
This time straight up the middle to the 30 is Trey Mason. Nick Marshall actually started his career at Georgia as a cornerback, defensive back, before going to the junior college ranks, where he threw for over 3,000 yards and 18 touchdowns and rushed for almost 1,100 yards. Lamine Barrow, one of the defensive captains, is the guy that's down for the Tigers right now. Oddly, we have 2 quarterbacks starting tonight that both started their careers in Athens and then moved on to the junior college ranks. Zach Mettenberger did likewise, was in the same recruiting class as Aaron Murray, and went and started in junior college, and now in his second year as a starter here. And there's Nick Marshall, as I mentioned, started as a DB at Georgia before going on and becoming a quarterback. And he's from a little town called Pineview, Georgia. And I said to Nick in the meeting yesterday, I said, Nick, I'm not quite sure. I live in Georgia, but I'm not quite sure. Is Pineview in the middle of Georgia? And he said, it's in the middle of nowhere. It actually is sort of south central Georgia, but he played, it's in Wilcox County, but he played high school there, A-ball and Class A football. So not a very big city. And I guess you could call it a town, not a city, but at any rate, he's done a nice job to work his way into this spot and has been doing great up until this point. But we knew a night on the road at LSU was going to be a little bit different than playing at home at the Plains at Auburn. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
Brad, you won't believe what's going on in East Hartford, Connecticut, UConn and Michigan. Devin Gardner was trying to sneak for 1 yard and he fumbled the ball. Tymier Brown scoop and score. Michigan has turned it over 4 times, and they're behind UConn 21-7. Huskies haven't won a game this season.
Wow. That would be a black eye to the Big Ten, wouldn't it? Lamine Barrow being helped off the field. Deion Jones is going to go in and take his spot. Barrow wearing that familiar number 18. That's a special jersey number if you play at LSU. Second down and 6. Now they switch bodies up, get the fullback Fultz in the slot, and flags are down as Marshall keeps this one and gets whacked in the hole by Lamar Lewis. We had 2 guys going in motion. So they talk things over with the captains, Ego Ferguson and Anthony Johnson, both captains too, those 2 big defensive tackles. Going to decline the penalty.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 players moving and not resetting prior to the snap. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So they decline the penalty, brings up 3rd down.
Again, if they throw here, it's important for Nick Marshall to realize he's got to find himself a lane to throw in. There's big bodies, there's long arms. He's not the tallest quarterback. Either get a little deeper on his drop, or you might have to move a little bit to create a throwing lane, a seam to get the ball through.
1 of 5 on 3rd downs. Over the middle, and he completes this one. And it's Marcus Davis, the freshman out of Delray Beach, Florida, who's got a 1st down. And now they're going to try to hustle up to the line here and try to keep something going.
Found the right matchup. Had a linebacker coming to cover him. He was coming late.
Ooh. Corey Thompson stands up Trey Mason.
I just think this is what Auburn has to do. I mean, this is part of what makes Gus's offense so effective, is their ability to play fast. And I know Nick Marshall is learning on the move, but the only way I think to really threaten this LSU defense is to try to get them out of whack, and you can do that with tempo.
Play action, loads and fires long, and got a man down to the 1-yard line is Sammy Coates. So finally a big play and a perfect pass from Marshall to Coates.
This is double coverage. Tre'Davious White and Mikey Eugene are both there, but Sammy Coates runs right through them and right past them. And as you mentioned, a perfect throw by Nick Marshall.
Longest play allowed by LSU this year. And Auburn knocking on the door. 1st and goal at the 1. And the keeper and the touchdown by Nick Marshall.
Flag down, though. Flag down from the opposite sideline. See what the call is.
Prior to the snap, false start. 51 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Patrick Miller, the right tackle, with a false start. And that negates a touchdown.
How about the pass, though? The first vertical play that we've seen from Auburn to stretch this defense.
And Rhett Lashley, the offensive coordinator at Auburn, was telling us yesterday this kid can really throw a nice deep ball, and that was a beauty.
When he gets his feet set, his feet were set on that one, and he did throw a beautiful pass.
Now they're making it hard on themselves, though, as they're back at the 6. 1st and goal. Marshall scrambling. Lobs it. I think he was over the line of scrimmage, wasn't he? Sammy Coates incomplete.
Well, he was looking for Uzama first. Off the play action fake, and they had his tight end, Uzama, covered. And then he tried to improvise, which you want him to do. You want him to use his instincts, but I think you're right. I think he might have got across the line of scrimmage.
I think he was about a yard past when he threw that little lob into the end zone. And you see, that's the preliminary signal.
Back of the end zone, 81, but he was covered.
Illegal forward pass, number 14, offense. The passer was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the pass. That's a 5-yard penalty and loss of down. 2nd down.
That's a killer. Loss it down. They're going the wrong way right now here.
Yeah.
Corey Grant checking into the backfield.
And they've got Kyle Frazier in to take the snap, too. Now, he can throw off of this. So far, he's only run, but they have a bootleg throw off of this as well.
They give it off to Corey Grant. Weaving his way down inside the 5 again. Nice run. Got to the 3-yard line. Third down and goal, and they're trying to go in a hurry. They bring Marshall back out and Mason back out. It was 2-down territory probably anyway. At least you would certainly think so. Mason, touchdown, Auburn. 3-yard scoring run by Trey Mason. So Auburn made it tough on themselves, but they do score from 3 yards out.
For 90, couldn't wrap him up, and Mason got into the end zone.
Cody Parkey in for the point after. Kick is up and good. Remember, this all started way down on the other end of the field after LSU faked a field goal and came up a yard shy at the 6-yard line. So 94 yards later, at the 3-minute mark, down to a 2-touchdown game as we take a look at our good hands play brought to you by Allstate. Good hands and a perfect throw. 52 yards to Coach. Right there between 2 defenders. That got it down to the 1-yard line. And then even after they had some penalty issues, they end up scoring anyway on a 3-yard touchdown by Trey Mason. 28-14.
They finally got the big chunk play. I mean, the only way you're going to put that kind of a drive together, 94 yards, is you've got to get a big play or two. And that big throw to Coates gobbled up a bunch of yardage, and then some timely running, some good decisions on the zone read play with Nick Marshall, and all of a sudden Auburn fighting their way right back in the ballgame.
Last time they scored a touchdown, LSU had an answer, came down and scored one of their own. Now we'll see if the LSU Tigers can do it again. Parkey, who hit the extra point, set to kick away to Odell Beckham Jr. if they so choose. They've been pretty cognizant about not letting Odell Beckham Jr. get it in his hands, because he's one of those guys that can take it from one end to the other in about 12 seconds if you give him a chance. He's got a chance from 2 yards deep. Runs into his own man, and he's going to be brought down shy of the 20. And we check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
Brad, Texas and Kansas State. David Ash will not return to the game. Case McCoy is playing in the second half. Jonathan Gray goes in, and the Longhorns starting their season over, they say, with the beginning of Big 12 play, and they're up 24-7 on K-State.
That would be a big boost for Mac Brown and quiet some of the Texas Longhorn fans if that holds up. Here a 2-touchdown game now again. Zach Mettenberger back out there with 2:54 remaining in the third quarter to start inside his own 20. Jeremy Hill. Another nice run. 8 or 9 again as we check in with Holly.
Well, Tiger Stadium here in Death Valley, known for its loud crowd, its deafening noise, but the problem, a lot of the crowd went home at halftime. Now, I'm not judging because it was pretty miserable with the rain in the first half, but it's not raining in the second, and it's pretty quiet out here.
It's funny, Holly, I told Todd during one of the timeouts a couple of minutes ago, I've never seen 92,000 people turn into 45,000 so quickly. And they should have stuck around, and obviously the weather was not good, but the game is still in doubt.
Right now, what Auburn is hoping for is that their defense does what they've done the first 3 games, which is play much better in the second half than the first half. Coming into tonight, they'd only given up 16 points in the second half. Now, they did give up the touchdown here in the third quarter, but Ellis Johnson's defense has played very well in the second half through the first 3 games.
They haven't given up any points in the fourth quarter this year, have they?
No.
Mettenberger fires complete. Odell Beckham made the first man miss, second man miss. They swarm around him, and he's still got all the way out for a first down at the 44-yard line.
These guys are so dangerous after the catch. You got to give them space. You got to give them room and respect the speed, but their ability to make people miss, and that's what makes him such a dangerous punt returner.
Yeah.
The ability to make somebody miss out in space.
First down at the 44-yard line. Play action. Mettenberger rolling left and throwing back to the middle and threw a strike to Odell Beckham, and that shows the arm of Zach Mettenberger right there.
That's a hard throw to make for a right-handed quarterback rolling to his left. The key is you got to get your shoulders turned. You got to get your shoulders square to the target. Watch as Zach reads it. He gets his shoulders all the way around and delivers a perfect throw.
And Beckham with a diving catch. Back to the ground they go. Jay Collins got Jeremy Hill wrapped up after a short game. We talked about a lot about Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry, and we agree that we think it's as good a duo as there is maybe in college football.
Yeah.
Those two guys came into our meeting yesterday and shook our hands. When I shook Jarvis Landry's hand, his middle finger hit about halfway up my arm. These guys have got some mitts now, and that helps them with some of those tough catches. Second down and 9. Boone is in there right now as a third wide receiver. Quick throw. Beckham. Nice job. Ryan White. He had to get around the blocker to make the tackle. And that was a big blocker. And Collins, a big left tackle, who got out there to try to lead the way. Nice job by Ryan White, senior out of Tallahassee.
He's made a couple nice plays tonight.
Yep. And there's what we were talking about. No fourth quarter points allowed this season. One of only 10 teams that can make that claim. Guess what? We're going to the fourth quarter. But Jeremy Hill and the LSU Tigers have things pretty much in command. Or do they? Tigers against Tigers. 28-14. We know one thing. Tigers are going to win this one when it's over. SEC on ESPN, just about set to start the fourth quarter here in Death Valley. And the Tigers of LSU leading by a couple of touchdowns. Celebrating its 9th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate's contributed more than $3 million in scholarship funds. Brad Nussler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew in Baton Rouge, where Nick Marshall and Auburn trying to make a game of it here after struggling for a good portion of it. They've cut the lead to 14, but LSU on the roll again here on offense. This would be a big third down stop for Auburn. Third down and 8. Mettenberger standing tall, deep middle, got his man, and off to the races. Landry. Touchdown. They've had an answer every time, haven't they?
Zach Mettenberger did a nice job of reading this defense. Auburn showed blitz, and then they only rushed 3 and dropped 8. And he was patient and allowed that crossing route to find a seam in the zone defense. And then again, Landry's ability after the catch. He and Beckham, what they do after they catch the ball is a big part of why they're special.
7 catches, 118 yards. A career high receiving, and another touchdown for Jarvis Landry. Delahousie in for the point after. Up and good. Well, it took one play of the fourth quarter to see if LSU had an answer to Auburn's last touchdown, and they do. 81 yards in 7 plays. And Mettenberger with a touchdown toss. Let's check it and toss it to Reese Davis.
Brad, want to get you up to date. Michigan and UConn, the Wolverines falling behind 21-7. Fitz Toussaint weaving his way through the Huskies. He'll go 35 yards for the score, but UConn is answering with a drive. They have the ball at the Michigan 25. It's 21-14. It's on ABC.
All right, Reese, thanks. Jarvis Landry has now had a touchdown catch in 6 straight games, and 8 of his last 9 games. We'll take another look at it, Todd.
Well, and this is what Muttenberger saw. See, Auburn's showing pressure, and Landry's going to run a deep crossing route. So if it's man, you might hit him right here or right here. But these guys are going to drop out, which means the pass is going to get hit over here. Be patient. It's only a 3-man rush. Allow the play to develop and let Landry get behind the linebackers in a little seam and then make the throw. Read the coverage correctly and then was patient in the pocket to let the play develop.
So since that first interception, he had the answer. I asked the question, how would he respond? How about 9 out of 11, 160 and a touchdown?
Well, you throw interceptions. I don't know anybody that's gone through a whole season without any interceptions,
right.
you know. He made one little bad throw, was a little behind his receiver. Kid made a nice play. You come right back at it from that point on, and he's played beautifully since.
The kick goes. Trey Mason about a yard deep. Little hesitation, and he brings it out. Shouldn't have hesitated. Maybe shouldn't have brought it out either. Rouge down there makes another play on the special teams. Holly.
Well, we spoke with Zach Mettenberger, Jarvis Landry, and Odell Beckham Jr. yesterday and asked them why have they really developed this special chemistry they have this season. Zach said, you know, there's no magic to it. It's good old-fashioned hard work. In the month of June, they threw to each other 3 times a week. In July, 4 days a week. So they have put in the hours. But Jarvis Landry and Odell said, hey, we also go to eat together. We play games together. We hang out. It's much more of a family feeling between us this year.
And it's showing. That's for sure. 14-yard line, empty backfield, and it's a quarterback draw for Marshall, and he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Here you go, Ferguson. Big fella makes the stop. And tonight, here's what he's done with his main weapons. 12 catches between them, close to 200 yards, and a touchdown to Landry.
You know, and he throws enough to the fullback. He hit Dixon down the middle against cover 2 one time to take a little pressure off those outside guys, but they're so talented. Why not keep giving them the football?
This throw out in the flat, and maybe a yard gain, if lucky, for Ricardo Lewis. Juan Alexander in on the tackle. And a 3rd down coming up. And Auburn changes up its personnel, brings in extra wide receivers, all set to the left side, but they need 9 yards here. Biggest target is false up there. They haven't thrown one his way. Marshall might not throw it all here. Now he's going to run with it. Ooh, man, he's sandwiched at the 20-yard line by Lamine Barrow, who came back in, by the way, after getting his left knee wrapped. And he and Alexander have a Nick Marshall sandwich.
Well, they got pretty good pressure. Roscoe comes inside. Here comes the outside move by Anthony Johnson. That forces Marshall to leave the pocket. And there's the sandwich you were talking about.
That was as big as the one you had over at Georgia's yesterday. You look behind Stephen Clark, who hasn't mishandled any snaps since the first one. High kick. Beckham might have a shot at this one. He will from the 27. Odell Beckham got a nice block, got to the corner. And that's a first punt returned off the foot of Stephen Clark all year. And it's a 10-yard return by number 3. 12:44 remaining in the ball game. Jeremy Hill, can he get 200 on the ground? Got a career high right now, including 3 scores. They've got the ball when we come back. Game between these two teams, it would be called the barn burner. LSU took the lead in the second quarter. Herb Taylor scored on a 2-yard run. In the fourth, LSU was leading 10-9. Rayon Hill returned an interception, 39 yards for a touchdown, and LSU would go on to win 19-15. But game known more for the big fire that was at the old Auburn Sports Arena next to Jordan-Hare Stadium. The game was never delayed. Those people didn't care. And you could see the flames up on the upper deck. Crazy. There have been some weird ones. The earthquake game, the barn burner, the comeback. Damian Craig was the engineer of that one for Auburn. They've had a lot of good ones and nicknamed many of them in this series that is 48 games old, starting in 1901. And flag.
5-yard penalty remains first down.
Hawkins, who's been kind of battling through some injuries, is back in there at right tackle, and he's the guilty party. So that's about 4 or 5 false start penalties.
Well, they also lost Trey Turner earlier in the ball game, their right guard, who is on the sidelines in street clothes now, and he's been replaced by Evan Washington. So playing a little short-handed.
Auburn was too defensively tonight. Craig Sanders, a normal starter on the defensive line, and Chris Davis, who probably would have started in the secondary. Neither one of those guys playing because of injuries tonight. A little bit confused, but nonetheless, with a 3-touchdown lead, pretty comfortable with 12:44 remaining. Zach will talk it over with Les, and we'll be right back.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities.
LSU in front here in the fourth quarter. 35-14. 12:44 remaining. Connor Neighbors in at fullback and Alfred Blue in at tailback. So Jeremy Hill's night's probably done with a huge game and 3 touchdowns on the ground. First down from the 31-yard line. This is Blue, and Alfred Blue getting into the act from that deep backfield, and you hear the chants of Blue from what remains of the Tiger Stadium crowd. Pick up a 12 for Alfred.
Fresh legs and a clean uniform, and a nice run on first down.
Dylan Gordon, one of the tight ends, came out, lost his helmet, I think. He has to come out for a play, and now Alfred Blue for the first down. Holly?
Alfred Blue just over a year removed from ACL surgery on his knee. I noticed that in the first game against TCU, he was wearing one of those bigger, clunkier braces on that repaired knee, but tonight he's got a little bit of a softer brace, a little more flexible, and you can see how much it helps him when he's trying to hit the hole, just that easier brace to maneuver with.
Great to have depth in your backfield. He's a career 1,000-yard guy as well. Jeremy Hill went over that 1,000 and just kept piling onto it in the ball game tonight. Landry, the motion man from the far side. Blue, this time they're going to wrap him up for no gain. Might have gotten a yard out of it. Brandon King made the tackle.
I think what we're seeing in this football game for sure is that LSU, we question, are they for real? How good are they? Aside from a couple of the turnovers that hurt their cause, they've been a pretty dominant football team tonight and have been in control of this game from the very beginning. Auburn, I think, has shown themselves also that they're a little bit better than maybe people thought, and certainly better than they were a year ago.
Mettenberger going to go deep down the sideline. Almost a one-handed catch by Odell Beckham Jr., and I hope he's not hurt. A little slow to get up. And he's going to stay there for a second. I guess he's all right. Almost made an acrobatic catch out of it. And a flag on the play anyway.
Pass interference, number 3, offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
It's on Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, he's working again on Ryan White. He has him beat at the start.
Oh,
and there's the push.
Yeah, I didn't
left
see
hand, reached back, tried to grab the football with his right hand, but that push with the left hand drew the penalty.
You said we'd find out what LSU. Les says it a little differently than some once in a while. And Blue taking would-be tacklers with him out to the 40-yard line, giving Elijah Daniel, a freshman, a ride there at the end. Just over 10 minutes remaining. Third down and a long one here for Mettenberger and the LSU offense. Odell Beckham who came out for a play, comes back in. He's down to the left Two wideouts the other way on 3rd down and 17. Mettenberger in the shotgun, quick throw to the wide side. Oops, that one's dropped. That doesn't happen very often, but that's Boone, not Jarvis Landry.
Ball was a little high because D. Ford was coming unblocked, and Mettenberger had to get the ball over top of D. Ford, and Landry is unable to come down with it.
Jamie Keane will punt. Quan Bray, averaging almost 15 yards of punt return, is back waiting on it at around the 20-yard line. Wow, he's got to backpedal a mile just to get to this thing at about the 7-yard line, dancing his way across the 10, but only to the 12. That was a monster punt, and only a 4-yard return of a 53-yard kick by Keane. The most powerful conference in college athletics will live on a new network. Traditions found a new home. It's the SEC Network, launching August of 2014. For more information, go to getsecnetwork.com. Top 10 Associated Press Bowl, Alabama a winner, so they're undefeated still. Oregon had a bye. LSU winning this one. Georgia a winner today against North Texas, and A&M beat SMU. That's just the SEC part of that. Georgia. Louisville and Ohio State had a lot of trouble today.
Yeah, a lot of trouble.
Whoa, Trey Mason met head on by Quan Alexander, who's made a lot of tackles tonight. Sophomore out of Oxford, Alabama. And that was a collision.
He's a very versatile player in John Chavis's defense. He plays the strong side linebacker, which means a lot of times he plays out in coverage on a slot receiver. It's kind of like a bigger safety type player. That time a huge hit at the point of attack.
And a 2-yard loss by Mason on that point of attack. So it's back to 2nd down at 12 at the 10. Marshall throws incomplete, intended for Jay Prosh, the fullback. Lamine Barrow, who had gone out earlier, and as Holly told us, they taped his knee up and he came back in, and he's the guy that was in coverage. Only 267 total yards tonight, and right now they need 12 more just to keep the football. Marshall throws complete out to Marcus Davis. Davis with a little stiff arm and a side move there to get close to the 1st down, but he's short. And it's going to be 4th and a yard, maybe 2.
That's a freshman mistake by Marcus Davis. I mean, in that kind of a situation, he has to catch that and go straight up the field and fight for that 1st down. A little too much dancing after the catch, and that's why he came up short.
Well, Gus Malzahn's thinking, how many more times am I going to even have the ball into my offense hands? So they go on 4th down and 2. Haven't converted a 4th down. Now they have. Trey Mason pops through there. Pick up a 4. And now Gus Malzahn saying, let's get the ball rolling.
Trey Mason is an underrated football player. Ran for over 1,000 yards for this team last year in an offense that struggled. Good hard-nosed player.
Here's the keep by Marshall, dragged down by Daniil Hunter, the defensive end, showing the kind of speed that guy has for 6'6", 240 pounds.
Yeah, they really like him. He's a younger player playing behind Jordan Allen at that defensive end position, but they think he is pushing Allen very hard for more and more playing time. Very athletic and rangy with that size.
2nd down and 5. Inside give again, and tough run by Mason one more time. About a yard shy of the 1st down. Clock winding. 7:50. And Gus Malzahn continues to wind his hands. 3rd and a yard. And he's got another 1st down. Not by much, but he didn't need much. So they move the sticks. Trailing 35-14. They need to utilize every second they can.
Yeah, they kind of have the body language like it's the 1st quarter. You know, There's 7 minutes left in the game, and they're down 3 scores.
Marshall going to air one out. Long ball again, and caught again by Coates again. Second time those two have hooked up on a long ball. This one's 42 yards.
And again, there was coverage by the corner with help from the safety, and Coates runs right between them, and you can't throw the football any better. 2 times they've done the same thing on opposite sides for big plays.
One got him down to the 1-yard line. That one got him down just inside the 25. Flags fly in as Mason goes down. So they weren't kidding when they told us that Nick Marshall can throw.
No, I mean, put the ball out there and try to stretch the defense more often and see if you can come up with some plays. Maybe you draw a pass interference penalty.
Offside, 32. Defense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
I don't think it was 32. He just came on the field. He was just subbed in.
Jalen Collins is going, don't blame me.
Right.
Anyway, they put it down at the 18-yard line. And it's 1st and 5 there. So if Auburn can get a quick score, who knows? Cameron Artis-Payne in the backfield with Marshall. The throw out in the flat. And I think it's going to be a first down to Quan Bray. Let's see where they spot it. They took the chain gang right out of it, and it is going to. Popping it outside is Artis-Payne, and he's in. Touchdown. Cameron Artis-Payne, 12-yard touchdown run. And so Auburn's not giving up.
So you go fast and you hope you get them out of their gap responsibility just a little bit. It looked like LSU was lined up on time, but they just got collapsed inside. There's a few backups in there on that front for LSU, and they didn't maintain gap responsibility, and Artis-Payne made him pay for it.
Cody Parkey for the point after. Up and good. Well, game's not over, folks. 6:33 remaining. 12-yard touchdown run caps an 88-yard march. 35-21. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. 35-21, LSU leading. This week on Sunday Night Baseball, Carlos Beltran and the Cardinals trying to keep pace in the race for the National League Central. They hit the road to take on the Brewers. Cardinals and Brewers coming up tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on ESPN and live on Watch ESPN. There's the National League Central standings. Pittsburgh, they tell us, beat Cincinnati tonight.
Much to the chagrin of our director, Scott Johnson.
That's right. Yeah. Didn't even like passing that info on to us. Your Cleveland Indians won tonight, though.
Yeah, they won again.
So now that we see an onside kick. LSU's thinking so. Odell Beckham and Landry and Boone, all the wide receivers are out there right now. The good hands group for the Tigers. Cody Parkey's got it teed up. And there it comes. And they've got it. Cody Parkey's got it, doesn't he? Auburn football. Huh. Whoa. How about that?
Well, it has to go 10 yards, and I think he caught it right at the 45-yard line. He tracks it.
He even got his body across the line before he caught it. You can't do it any better than that. Cody Parkey knew he had to get across that line. He got his feet across and then reached back. Landry hits him, but too late.
And who was that got a block? Was that Prosh who got a block on Landry?
Right there.
Yep. Just enough to keep Landry from getting the football because Jarvis was tracking the ball.
So 6.5 minutes to go. Auburn down 2 scores.
On the field was that the ball traveled 10 yards and then recovered by the kickers. That play is under further review.
I don't think there's going to be any doubt about this one, although we'll take another look at it. And Ben Oldham will take a look at it up here, our replay official.
Really well executed. And obviously this is a kick that Parkey practices over and over again. Got it to bounce just the way he wanted. And the key block by Prosh that enabled Parkey to recover his own kick.
There's no doubt that he got his legs and body across the line. And there's where it takes the big hop, and he's got it right there. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, and a little bit of complacency on the part of LSU, except for Jarvis Landry. He was the only guy that aggressively was going for the football. Even though where they were lined up and anticipating an onside kick, Landry was the only one.
Views underway. Gus Malzahn thinking about how he can score a touchdown here.
Well, and this is a situation because of the delay, and especially if it goes in your favor, if you're Auburn, might be a time to take another shot.
After further review, the ball was illegally touched by the kickers at the 44.5-yard line. It'll be LSU's ball, first down at the spot of that touch.
Tell you what, I don't agree with that one. So LSU will have the ball.
Well, the ball has to travel the full 10 yards. So it doesn't necessarily matter where his body is, as long as the ball crosses that 45-yard line. Did he touch it before it went there?
I don't think so.
Well,
but what I think does not matter. So LSU gets it back. Gus Malzahn is agreeing with me, but Tom Ritter's telling him, sorry, coach.
Well, that last look when they slowed it all the way down, it looked like maybe his right hand did touch the ball before it got to the 45, but it was awfully close.
Now where they actually spot it is at the 44. Jeremy Hill's back in at tailback. LSU knowing this one's not over until they say it's over. For the guy that's had a career night, we thought maybe it was done for the night. He's right back in there. A two tight end set, and he'll get the handle. And he's going down at the line of scrimmage, if not losing a yard. Boy, when you think you come up with a huge special teams play like that, you got to get your head right back in the game. The scoreboard and the clock both in LSU's favor. Auburn does have 3 timeouts, but they need a stop on the LSU offense here. Second down and 11. Hill again stopped at the line of scrimmage. Gabe Wright made the first hit and got help from his friends, including Kenneth Carter. So third down and long.
This game has had a weird flow to it. You know, for LSU, there's been times when they've had their foot on the accelerator and they've looked good, almost unstoppable. And then there's been other times where it looked like they were just kind of trying to ride some things out right there in the second quarter when the weather was bad. And now, even now, it just seems like they're trying to just get this game over with. And Auburn is, you know, trying to fight to the bitter end.
LSU trying to shorten the game and Auburn trying to lengthen it. 3rd and 11. Mettenberger steps up in the pocket and had it. I think he had his arm hit as he was throwing, and it's incomplete, and it's 4th down, and the clock stopped with 5:04. Gabe Wright, a couple of back-to-back big plays from the inside of the Auburn front wall.
Gabe Wright rushing inside, working on Alexander, the guard, and a nice spin move after he was taken away from the sack. Spins back and gets his hand in there, and enough to disrupt the throw.
On the onside kick, Jamie Keene to punt. Fair catch, taken and dropped. Does LSU have it? Let's see. And still, they're going to say Auburn football. Rouge, the holder again, and one of the captains of the special teams. Man, he's been in a lot of plays tonight.
Yeah, you can tell he's one of those guys that loves to play special teams. He's coming out with the football, but the referees are saying it belongs to Auburn.
They're saying Quan Bray had it. Here's Bray. Just let it slip out, and then the battle on the bottom. And then it's who can pull harder. Apparently, Right about there is when they said Quan Bray's got it. And Auburn does have it now offensively with 4:53 to go. Down by 2 touchdowns. Well, Coates has been the big play guy when Nick Marshall's gone deep, and they don't have a lot of time to work with right now. And they'll run it. And Trey Mason, nice run. About 9 yards to the 25. And right back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, what's left of this crowd is trying to rile up the LSU.
And now Mason trying to get to the second level, does get past the linebackers for 8 more yards. 4.5 minutes remaining as they move the sticks. Got to throw pretty soon. Maybe not. That's just a 2-yard gain. Anthony Johnson on the bottom of the pile. He and Eagle Ferguson, 2 big tackles, still in there and trying to stop Auburn. He's going to go out of the game, beg your pardon. Corey Grant comes in. 2nd down and 8. Wasting precious seconds here. Play action. Marshall throws on the run, and he throws a strike. Complete. 1st down. Tony Stevens, another freshman wide receiver. Again, they move the chains, and clock stopped momentarily. 3:43 now as they wind it again. Artis Payne comes back into the Auburn backfield. The fullback Prosh is in there as well. Marshall.
Well, that ball was thrown too far to the inside. He's gone to Coates twice for big plays. And if he throws this outside over the outside shoulder, he might have a chance. But the ball's way inside, and Mills is able to fall in and make the interception. It was short, and it was too far inside.
Loston was coming over to help, and even if he'd have gotten it farther out in front of Coates, he might have gotten to it first. At any rate, gives the ball back to LSU at the 24-yard line. Landry in motion across the field. And the toss is to Jeremy Hill that way. He's going to lose a couple. Take it away from his total. Takes him back to 181 yards on the ground.
Timeout. Auburn, that is their first charge timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Auburn takes a timeout with 3:05 remaining in the football game. Don't forget, tomorrow get your NFL Sunday started right here on ESPN. 10 o'clock, it's Sunday NFL Countdown. It's Chris Berman and the gang have you all the latest news and updates from around the league right up until the kickoff. At 11 a.m. on ESPN2, catch Fantasy Football Now. All the latest news, injury reports, and predictions for the top fantasy performers. It's all tomorrow morning on ESPN and ESPN2. Looks like it's going to be a party night in Baton Rouge, even though Auburn has definitely made this thing interesting in the second half. They had touchdown drives in the second half of 88 and 94 yards, but they're still trailing here with 3 minutes to play. And here's LSU's schedule coming up. That baby's loaded, Ledge.
Well, they're into their SEC schedule now, starting tonight, and then you take a look at, I'm not sure there's any team in the league that has a tougher road to go. Look at those ranked teams within the conference and the ones that are on the road, at Alabama, at Ole Miss, at Georgia next week. Of course, Florida a little different now with the injury to Driscoll.
And again, Jeremy Hill losing a couple more.
It's just LSU has just lost any of their steam. And again, they're just, you know, they don't need to score.
Auburn, that is their second charge timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Auburn takes another timeout. They're down to 1 now. Right at the 3-minute mark. They need a stop here to force a punt. And they've made it respectable as far as they didn't have much in those first 2 quarters, but the second half's been much better. And they're still working it over there, and they're coaching them up.
Well, I'm impressed with Auburn. You know, they had a very poor year a year ago, both offensively and defensively, and a whole new coaching staff, not just Gus Malzahn. It's a completely new staff. Nick Marshall did not come in the spring. I mean, he came in the summer, didn't get awarded the starting quarterback job until about 2 weeks before the season started. So they are very much a work in progress. But they're going to be 3-1, it appears, at the end of this night, if things hold the way they are right now. But they're a much better football team. And there's no question about that.
Even if they lose, and it looks like they probably will, to go to 1-1, that's one more in the conference than they won last year.
Yep.
3rd down at 14. They're going to keep it on the ground. And he'll get some of that lost yardage back. Picked up 5. McKenzie makes the stop. But Auburn can only stop it one more time. And they do right there. So 4th down coming up. McKenzie, the guy that made the tackle, still on the deck. He's played a good football game tonight. Sophomore out of Birmingham. So that's going to bring out Jamie Keene to punt here momentarily. LSU, we talked about the stars they have, and for the most part they were shining tonight. Jeremy Hill, 184 yards, career high, and 3 touchdowns, also a career high. Zach Mettenberger, 229 and a touchdown. Did throw 1 interception, but he threw the touchdown to Jarvis Landry, and Landry, one of his many catches as he went over the 100-yard mark receiving, and has a touchdown in his 6th straight game. Those are the guys that did the work offensively for the LSU Tigers tonight. And now Jamie Keene set to kick to Quan Bray, who mishandled the last one but did recover the drop. This one chases him to the far side, and he's run out of bounds as soon as he makes the catch. 43-yard kick and no return. 2:46 left, and Auburn's out of timeouts.
Yeah, so they're going to have to go into their 2-minute mode, which again is really the thing that Nick Marshall has done the best ever since he's been a member of the Auburn football team and battling for the quarterback position. No timeouts, so you got to work the field, get out of bounds after catches, after runs. The clock stops while they reset the chains and work it that way.
And do it in the wet again.
Yeah.
It's raining again. So 4 receiver group for Nick Marshall. Steps up, throws short, almost a pick 6 going the other way. Tre'Davious White, had he held on, would have scored.
He saw gold. He saw the gold paint in the end zone. And his name in lights. He read it beautifully. Just couldn't make the catch.
Jumped all over it in front of Marcus Davis. So a couple of freshmen playing over there on that side. Here's a throw that is caught. Tony Stevens, another true freshman.
Boy, really nice throw under duress. Dwayne Thomas was coming on a blitz and hit Marshall right as he threw the football. Still able to make the completion.
1st down with 2.5 to go. Give it back. Now on the run is Marshall. Faked it to Trey Mason. Goes out of bounds. Only got a yard out of it. Second down along 8. LSU might have jumped off sides. But Marshall, whoops, slips, and now lets it fly, and tipped, broken up. Intended for Tony Stevens, and it was White back there again.
Good job by Marshall, knowing that he had a free play and going ahead and taking a shot down the field. Ego Ferguson jumped. He knew it.
Offside. Defense, the nose guard. 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
So 2nd down still. 10 penalties assessed against LSU. A lot of them false starts on the offense. That one on the defense. Just on their side of midfield. Empty backfield. Marshall Throws a little screen out. Bubble screen to Coates. Coates down the sideline. Coates almost broke it. Had one guy to beat, and he couldn't quite do it. And he gets up limping a little bit, but he got a big play down inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Alex goes in, the left guard, pulls out in front of the play. They hadn't shown that bubble screen yet earlier in the game. Nice big gain out of it.
That was Quan Alexander that saved a touchdown. And now they jam it up on the inside. Artis Payne, who's already got one tonight, takes it down close to another first down. 1:50 left. Auburn threatening. Trailing by 14. But looking to change that right here.
Yeah, and you know, whether they win this game or not, they're showing tremendous resiliency, and they definitely are the team that has more energy right now on offense and defense, more so than LSU.
Second down and short. And straight up the middle to a first and goal goes Cameron Artis Payne. 6 yards.
They got to hurry, though. They got to hustle.
Got an LSU guy down. They might have to hustle. It's Anthony Johnson, I believe. So that'll stop the clock. It's going to give Auburn time to talk things over here and come up with strategy on a first and goal at the 4. So Marshall goes over to talk to his head coach. Anthony Johnson, a preseason pick to be all SEC first team performer. He got rolled up on, I think. Well, he was just involved in the collision. Daniil Hunter's the guy that was making the tackle. And big Anthony Johnson, junior out of New Orleans, got tangled up in the fray there. Working on his, it appears, left knee. Kind of a stunned crowd remaining here at Tiger Stadium. There's not a lot of bodies left, and the people that did leave, if it gets to 35-28, they're going to wish they hadn't. Big Anthony getting helped off the field. Meanwhile, Auburn runs out to a first and goal at the 4-yard line. They can't snap it until they get Anthony Johnson off the field. But right now, Auburn's ready to go. And there's still a long walk left for number 90. So no matter how quickly they line up, they can't do anything for about 10 more seconds. And now they've got him to the sideline. Auburn first and goal. In a 35-21 game.
I'd come back in and run zone right where Johnson left. Here they come right at him.
Artis Payne straight up the middle. And a penalty marker down. A busy night for Tom Ritter and his officiating crew.
False start, 51, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Miller, the right tackle. It's a pat on the helmet from Slade, the right guard, says let's do it again. They're going to have to do it in from deeper now. Backed up to the 9-yard line. For Nick Marshall in the shotgun. Artis Payne on his right. Now shifts to his left, and the fullback goes there too, Prosh. First and goal, Auburn. Marshall, fade to the corner, double coverage, intended for false and incomplete. And Loston was there, and so was Mills. That's the biggest target he's got out there to work with, 6'4", 263-pound tight end.
Trying to throw it up there and let the big guy go catch it. That one was an uncatchable pass. Now Sammy Coates coming in. More of a wide receiver package. And Uzoma, the other 6'4" tight end.
Second and goal. Marshall backpedaling and in trouble. Got away from Ego Ferguson. Still moving around back there. He's not going to get away, though. Now Auburn's got to hustle.
Really good pursuit by Jordan Allen. He's a guy who plays with a high motor. Never gave up on the play. Chased him all the way to the sideline and got the sack.
Marshall zips it down the middle. Incomplete. It was intended for Marcus Davis. Lamine Barrow dropped back there into coverage. And now it's down to maybe just one snap. Auburn doesn't score a touchdown here. It's lights out. They're only 1 out of 4 on their 4th down, but this is obviously the biggest one of the night at the 17-yard line. Last chance for Auburn. Marshall flips it out to Mason. He almost lost his balance, keeps it, and gets dropped by Quan Alexander, and that'll do it. Quan Alexander, who's made a lot of big plays, makes a nice open field tackle on Trey Mason. And LSU will take over, and all they've got to do is take a knee. Well, the last team to beat Auburn in September here was, the last team to beat LSU here was Auburn 7 years ago. They can't pull that trick tonight. 29 straight September wins in Death Valley for Les Miles and the LSU Tigers. They go to 4-0, 1-0 in conference play. Auburn drops its first game, 3-1 and 1-1 in SEC play. Tell you what, Auburn Tigers made
them going in the right direction. There's no question. LSU, a hard-fought win, and now they'll go to Athens next week for a big game against Georgia.
And that's where game day will be, we understand. Sports Center is coming up next. All the scores and highlights from a huge day in college football. That's going to wrap it up for us. A battle of Tigers tonight, and the home team Tigers, led by Jeremy Hill and company, win it 35-21. For Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe and our entire ESPN crew, Brad Nessler saying so long from Death Valley, where the Tigers win another.